The race analysis, 267 laps on this mile-and-a-half track to make up the 400-mile distance. Fuel mileage probably going to factor in somewhere near the end of this thing. And the last red flag lap, NASCAR won't stop the race after the leader has completed lap 263 in order to try and get a green flag finish. I guess that roar is all you need to know, huh? Pace car's off. And it is time to start today's NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race underway.
Now, you know, they say it's not important to lead the first lap, but on these type of tracks, you want to be out front. So if you can get out front quick, it's going to be better for the aerodynamics of your car.
Jeff Gordon, Casey Kane racing for that top spot.
Jimmy Johnson taking a look. Taking a look on a 9-car Casey Kane. Can't pull it off.
Gordon leads lap 1. Kane is second. Johnson is third. Greg Biffle is fourth. And fifth is Brian Vickers. Tony Stewart trying to pick up some spots.
Picked up some spots by the looks of it. He went way high and got right up against the wall. Looks like he passed a few then.
Going by Ryan Newman on the outside as we look on board Ryan Newman's car. Tony Stewart going down the backstretch to turn 3. Early on, all these guys will run right on the bottom of the racetrack with these old, fresh tires. But as Jeff Burton talked about, they will be moving up as the laps progress.
Tony started 10th. He's up to 7th now. And just in front of Ryan Newman and running just behind Mike Bliss, driving the third Joe Gibbs Racing entry this weekend, number 80. That'll be the car Tony tries to catch next. There you see Bliss left of the screen. Normally runs the NASCAR Busch Series for Joe Gibbs. They've had this third R&D team that they've brought out a couple of times a year every year, and it's out here this weekend, and Bliss really qualified well. In fact, he was the highest qualified of the 3 Joe Gibbs cars. He outran Tony Stewart and he outran body to body.
And that's what the R&D deal is all about, is trying to try different things that the other guys can't, because you're in a points run. So they're learning a lot, and it's paying off.
Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace back in traffic. They're racing for 22nd and 23rd.
Junior started 25th, so he has moved up a couple of spots. Tony Stewart goes by Bliss. Here comes Ryan Newman in the 12 car going by Bliss in 80.
So that puts Tony up to 6th. Newman taking 7th, and here comes Jeff Burton in the 99.
It doesn't look like Mike Bliss in that 80 car can keep the car down on that bottom like the other cars right now. And that's going to hurt him because he's going to have some guys passing him.
Check this Casey Mears driving up on the outside of Jeff Burton and trying to take that spot away. Already they're up on the top side of the racetrack.
Now, if the 80 car is loose with Mike Bliss, he does not want the 41 car behind him. He may be moving up that racetrack or using that higher line because he's loose, and it looks like he is a little bit loose right there.
Loose when the front end grips better than the back end, and the back end wants to come around on you when you're turning left. Bliss is hanging tough on Newman.
41 needs to get down.
Looks like that 41 car is pretty fast. If he gets the bottom of the racetrack, there he comes.
It's Casey Mears in the 41 sliding down. Ryan Newman trying to get the spot away from Mike Bliss. Dave, how about Newman?
Alan, in practice yesterday, they went from very, very tight to loose on the car. They thought maybe just a little bit too loose, so they tightened that car up this morning by making a track bar adjustment, also taking camber out of the left front tire. But that side-by-side racing, Wally, I don't think you prepare for that nearly as much as you prepare for your car being alone on the track.
Well, that's exactly right. When you're out there trying to get a balance on the car in practice, you're out there by yourself. And until you're happy with the balance of the car, you don't go out and run in traffic. A lot of these guys are running in traffic for the first time with the race setup.
Casey Mears in the 41, Bakersfield, California native. Picks up a spot, moves him up to 9th.
And last time Mears in the 41 pulled up behind Mike Bliss in the 80 as he pulled up right behind, really got him loose, and Bliss had to chase the car off the racetrack and back off the throttle, which allowed Casey Mears to drive by.
Elliott Sadler on the move there, 38 car to the inside. And behind them, Kevin Harvick, 29, trying to get a spot on Jamie McMurray in the 42.
That's 12th and 13th. The 29 is in 13th. That's Harvick.
Sorry, I was just going to say Chad Blunt just took the 37 car into the garage. So he's after just a couple laps.
What are they saying about the 29 there, Marty?
Well, Harvick hasn't said a word on the radio so far, Wally, but this is not the car that he won 2 races here with. The same car that he won Indianapolis with, so we have a battle for third. But this is a brand new car for Kevin Harvick. They ran that car that won all those races 6 times this year, put 2 new bodies on it, and now have scrapped it. This is a new car for Harvick.
And Greg Biffle, the 16 car, goes by Jimmy Johnson, goes into the 3rd spot. And remember how well that Greg Biffle ran in California back in late April, early May, a racetrack very similar to this, huh, Bill?
Absolutely, Benny. In fact, talking to their crew this morning, and crew chief Doug Richard, he wanted cloud cover. He wanted a cooler day because they're better in cooler weather. But they said this car is good. It is the California car. It said this car gives his driver confidence on this type of track. They tried to make it a little bit better, but they had confidence in the car and in the driver when the green flag fell.
And Bill Weber, that is real important when you're a race car driver, because if a race car driver has confidence in one of those cars, these guys have a lot of cars to work with, but if you like a race car and you're confident with that car, man, that is a huge plus when you go racing.
And all of a sudden, the Nextel Cup points leader, Jimmy Johnson, seems to be struggling. Biffle goes by, now Tony Stewart goes by.
So Jimmy Johnson back to 5th. And Bill talked about teams that wanted cloud cover. There are clouds moving in, and there are rainstorms on the radar. We don't want that. We'll hope that that stays away from us and we can get this thing in full distance. Tony Stewart, Matty.
Tony Stewart on the move, and it's not a surprise. You look at the last 2 years here at Chicagoland, a 2nd and a 3rd, and he has led over 125 laps. Now, Tony's car was a little free in the final practice session. They made some slight shock adjustment, tightened him up, and he is on the move. His teammate, the 80 Mike Bliss, extremely loose, guys.
It looked it, man. I mean, you can tell when the car's up on the top side of the racetrack early like that and doesn't want anybody behind you, that's because he is loose.
Jeff Gordon leads. Casey Kane is 2nd, followed by Greg Biffle, Tony Stewart, and Jimmy Johnson.
Dear Daryl, we heard you're running with Toyota Power. So how do you like your new truck? Eddie Connor, Westboro, Mass.
It's a big, fast, tough truck. What's not to like? Sincerely, Darrell Walter.
Brought to you by Toyota, the newest member of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And proud.
We have a new leader in today's race. Jeff Gordon backing up. He's already 2nd. He's about to give that up to Greg Biffle.
He gave it up.
Trouble turn 2. 2 cars into the wall. Ryan Newman is one of them, and Kurt Busch is the other.
Ryan Newman, 9th place in the NASCAR Nextel Cup points. Can't afford this because he's got guys breathing down his neck.
Neither can he.
No, neither can he.
Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch is 7th in the championship. Some pretty heavy damage there, Dave.
Alan, on lap 15, Ryan reported in, the car feels squashy in the rear. I feel like I'm on top of the track. Maybe I have a right rear going down. We'll see what the replays show.
We see the left rear tire is flat, and there is the casing, the tread off the tire. So it just looks like right now, Dave, that maybe the left rear tire was flat. But we'll see.
He had lost about 3 positions in the last couple of laps before that. So he was obviously trying to feel that car out, and
we'll take a look and see what happens here.
Top right of the screen.
Yep.
He was under somebody.
Yep, he lost the left rear, and unfortunately, Kurt Busch was right there.
That's Kurt Busch cannot catch a break, but they hit these safer barriers, and both guys drive away.
Yeah. Amen, man. Those things are great.
This would be on board Scott Riggs.
Just keep an eye on the left rear. Well, maybe.
He just drives by him just before. And fortunately, this was just before the wreck.
And here come the leaders onto pit road as Ryan Newman turns into the garage behind the wall. Stops are going to come at lap number 19. Marty?
Elliott Sadler in 7th. Last second call to take 2 tires, just a little bit tight in the middle of the corner. He said the track is very slick. Half pound on the right front tire. Dave?
Ryan Vickers said the car's coming around just a little tight in traffic. Just give me 4 tires and fuel and send me on my way. Matt?
A 2-tire change for Tony Stewart. Tight at both ends of the racetrack. They made a wedge adjustment.
Casey Kane on pit road, 2 second-place finishes. Cars so far so good to this point, looking to gain positions, but a lot of guys passing him. Jeff Gordon said we're in real trouble, boys. This car is major loose. You'll have to tighten this sucker up. Air pressure, chassis adjustment for the 24 of Gordon.
And already we're seeing 2 tires, fuel just trying to get that wonderful track position, get in front. There's a 17 car coming out of no place up with the leaders.
So a number of guys get just right side tires. We'll recap the pit stops for you when we come back under the first caution of the Tropicana 400 after Ryan Newman got in trouble down in turns 1 and 2. Caution after Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman got involved in a crash in turns 1 and 2. Here's an even better look to show you exactly what happened from Kurt's perspective.
You know, watch this from Kurt Busch, and Kurt's going to Monday morning this, and he's going to wish he did not get off the throttle. Watch right here, the 6 car goes high, and Kurt slowed down to run high. BP, I think he's going to wish he just stood on the gas. He may have cleared it.
You think he might have gotten by?
I think he might. And another thing is, I know Ryan Newman's going to be second guess himself, because normally when you think you feel something wrong with the car, there's something wrong with the car. And drivers will second guess themselves all the time. And when that happens, that's what happens to your car.
One of those racing sayings, vibrations don't fix themselves.
You feel something wrong, you know what? There's something wrong. You've been doing this a long time. You know better.
But you keep wishing and hoping for that caution flag, that slowdown period where you can come in and fix it. But normally you cause the caution flag.
Or sometimes you think maybe I just ran over some fluid, or maybe I got into some dirt. You're hoping it's not a tire going down.
So Ryan looks on as his crew attempts repairs to try and get him back out. Again, he's in the top 10 in the championship, but barely. He's 9th. And doesn't want to get any farther outside of that group if he can help it in these final 9 races. They got some work to do to get that back in the race. How about the McDonald's Drive-Thru Pit Crew Championship fueled by Powerade? Michael Waltrip's team spent the least amount of time on pit road among eligible crews at Daytona last week. Their second $20,000 haul on the season. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team leads the standings for the season-long $200,000 chase. Always nice to see the guys who go over the wall get the recognition they deserve.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty close, too.
It is pretty close.
38 car Elliott Sadler's guys are right there.
I tell you, these pit crews, they do a fantastic job changing these tires, putting in fuel.
They're a very, very important part of this championship deal. Believe me, without a good pit crew, you don't even have a shot.
Speaking of pit crews,
the 38 car just a moment ago, they changed 2 tires. Now the tire carrier, Kevin Hall, he runs into the other guy coming around to change tires. He can't get by, but they know the car's got to go, so they just jump. The front tire changer, Darrell Lockyer, he just kind of pushed him, threw him out of the way so that Elliott Sadler could leave.
Elliott Sadler lined up 3rd for the restart. Let's meet the members of his team.
Todd Parrott, crew chief, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Kevin Hall, front carrier, Gloucester, Virginia. Darrell Lockyer, front tire changer, Gore Hills, California.
Rodney Fetters, jack man, Niagara Falls, New York.
Lance Hanna, rear tire carrier, Weatherford, Texas.
Dave Smith, rear changer, Millersville, Maryland.
Preston Cordell, gas man, Middleburg, Florida.
Jay Thompson, catch can, Omaha, Nebraska.
Phil Horton, pit crew coach, Lenore, North Carolina.
And they're from every place, aren't they?
And you and I can identify with that, because when you and I are ahead of him in the buffet line,
we
that's what happens
jump
to
out
us.
of the way.
He knocks us over.
Tony Stewart is the new race leader. Terry Labonte and P.J. Jones got a car in trouble.
Brendan gone.
Hi, say hi.
Caution's out.
Yellow flag, guys.
Oil on the track, caution's out, or suspected oil on the track.
Well, at this point in the race, they've got to stop and check it to make sure.
Yeah, that's the right call.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Brendan was running 20th on the restart. And that will be 2 of the 3 Penske cars in the garage with troubles early.
Yep.
So the second caution follows quickly on the heels of the first. It's Brendan Gaughan in trouble here at the Chicagoland Speedway. We'll be right back. Just about to wrap up the second caution of the race after Brendan Gaughan dropped the transmission and left some liquid on the track. From the first caution flag, the pit strategies that played out, let's try and set them for you. Tony Stewart got just right side tires that got him up into the lead. Elliott Sadler, Scott Riggs, Casey Mears, Jamie McMurray, Matt Kenseth, right side tires only. First guy with 4 tires. tires. Oh, trouble on the restart for Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, we had a couple of guys, Matt, and looked like Casey Mears had a problem on the restart. Whether they missed a shift or spun the tires, not sure. But, uh-oh, we got another smoker up there. Maybe that may just be low tire pressure.
Greg Biffle, now it looks like the left front might be caved in on his car a little bit. That jam up there, Walt.
It may have been happened on that restart when they got boxed up.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely damaged on the left front. He must have got into somebody when they missed a shift. Bill.
Yeah, left front tire, Rob. Talking about it, trying to decide what to do. Somebody up there in the front was talking about a vapor lock. Didn't catch the team, Wally, but they were talking about watch out for him on the restart.
Yeah, well, it was an accordion effect, and we didn't get to see who Greg got into, but it definitely caved that left front end into. That could really cut a tire like that. Really got to be careful.
Watch the 17.
Okay, here's the jam up. Oh, he got into, is that Vickers?
No, Vickers got in the back of the 17, and Biffle also ran in the 17.
No, I think Biffle ran into Vickers by the looks of it.
Well, how about we take another look at it, and we'll double check it for sure. How's that?
Sounds good to me.
Let's look at this again.
All right.
All right, now here's, okay, right here. Oh, wrong one, sorry.
You got to do it on the telestrator, Wall. Come on.
Right there. Okay, now watch. Right here.
There you go.
Okay. Now what? Now, yep. And then Biffle.
Yes, he did. You're right.
Gets into the 25 car. So we had like a. Boy, he got in there hard. I mean, he picked the rear of the car up. And the 42 car was the one that either vapor locked or.
Okay, so now that we've gotten that figured out.
Well, we don't have the telestrator figured out. I did what you used to do. I wrote on it with an ink pen.
Yeah.
So I'll clean that later.
Don't tell the crew that. Tony Stewart is the race leader. Jeremy Mayfield is second. Mayfield got fuel only on the caution flag pit stops before. I started to say when all that mess happened on the restart, Jeff Gordon was the first one in line who got 4 tires. He restarted 7th. He's up to 5th after that little shuffle and schlemazel there on the restart.
And we see that Biffle has chosen to stay on the racetrack, and the smoke has diminished somewhat, almost gone. I guess it's kind of made its own clearance. Bill, what are they saying in the pits about the 16 car?
That's what he's saying in the car. They asked him, is it getting better? And he said, all he said was, yeah, better. He definitely didn't want to stop. Dave.
25 car Brian Vickers got hard into the 17 car. That right front is damaged. They tried to tell Brian not to get into it. They said bottling up, but it was too late. And now Brian says the car is very, very loose.
And on the way back to the front, Jeff Gordon in the 24. Vickers' teammate, as he took his 4th spot away from Casey Mears.
It's all about downforce here. And when you hurt the fenders on these race cars, you hurt the downforce on your car, and it's going to make for a long day.
Bill, what are they saying about the 24 car now after you change 4 tires?
A lot better, Benny, and I just wanted to reiterate, when that first caution came out, Gordon opened the radio and said in a very disheartened voice, we're in trouble, boys. This car is really, really loose. He said, you're really going to have to struggle to get this thing to start sucking up to the track, or we're going to have a long day. They made air pressure and chassis adjustment, made it better.
But that's the thing, Bill, when you've got a combination like Jeff Gordon and Robbie Loomis who work together very well. Robbie Loomis knows exactly what to do when Jeff Gordon says it's very, very loose. He knows what Jeff means, and he knows what changes to make. That's why those guys are so good at making adjustments.
Watching this race for back about 15th on down. Dale Jr. trying to move up, and you see Brian Vickers in the 25 damage that right front fender, and it hurts. He was up there in the top 7 a little while ago. And now he's back outside the top 20 here after these couple of cars get by.
And he's going to probably stay on the high side for a long time, because if that car is loose, he can't turn the steering wheel. If he turns the steering wheel really hard going down into the corner, like BP said earlier, it wants to spin out going in. So he's going to have to ride high and wait to get back in the pits to make some kind of adjustment.
Dave Burns has more on Brian Vickers.
Brian Vickers is 20 years old. Well, his car owner, Rick Hendrick, is a little bit older than that and been around a little bit longer. They're both from the South, North Carolina, and a little earlier under caution. Here's a conversation they had.
You sit in the motorhome and be disappointed. I hope you're on top of one of them hot boxes. You're in the sun. And I
I used to prime tobacco in heat worse than this all day long. Uphill both ways, I bet. For some reason I knew that was coming. I knew the uphills both ways deal was coming. You did forget the barefooted part. We got the barefooted part. That's right. Uphill both ways, barefooted.
Little generation gap there.
Yes,
that they're having some fun with, and the caution flag is out.
And that's what that team right there needed, because they're going to be coming in and they're going to be trying to fix that car. Ryan Vickers.
Caution is out for debris. There it is.
Wow. That may probably come up the.
Probably the 21 car.
Yeah, 21 car looks like he's missing a bunch of material on the right front.
And Kenseth's going right over that sheet metal. I hope his crew is watching this because he probably ought to pit.
Wow. Harvick fortunately hit it with his bumper.
Pit road will be open, and we'll see if Matt Kenseth takes advantage of that. Ricky Rudd is taking his car behind the wall. He came onto the pit road as soon as the caution came out. You see the right rear tire is pretty much shredded on that car, and probably those bits of metal are the crush panels that form the wheel well up underneath the body.
All right, how many cars are going to choose to come down pit road and give up track position? No takers so far. And Kenseth, no, here comes Kenseth.
So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars stay on the track. Everybody from 10th on back's coming in. Marty?
Well, Matt's main concern during that whole run is whether he had any damage from making contact with Brian Vickers. There was no damage. Robbie Loomis reported him. His car is just a little bit tight. They make an air pressure adjustment, a pound on the right front tire. Kevin Harvick's car is handling very well. The problem for Harvick, his oil temperature has shot way up. They took tape off the grill last time, trying to keep that oil down. Dave?
6 car of Mark Martin on and off of pit road, Marty. They just wanted to top off with fuel. Mark Martin said the car is good now. Bill?
Well, Greg Biffle on pit road, all bashed in on the left side. They were hoping it was going to cure itself, but it wouldn't. So now he's on pit road under the caution, looking to pull that sheet metal away. Also have to do some work on the hood, because the hood is also rubbing right in there, right at the hood pit. So they continue to work on Biffle's car. Disappointing day for a disappointing season for these guys.
How's that left front, look there, Bill? I mean, we can't really see it from this angle. Is it really damaged?
Yeah, it's not what you'd want, Wally, believe me. But they're very fortunate they got the caution.
Well, it's a long race to go. Still 227 laps left. Plenty of time for the team to fix the damage, try and get their track position back with a little strategy. Third caution of the race is out here in Chicagoland. Here's why the caution flag's out at Chicagoland Speedway. That's Ricky Rudd coming at you and scattering things.
Tire comes apart and just rips out the inner panels in these cars and
just littering.
Yes.
And some of these cars driving through where all that debris is did not pit under this caution. We'll see.
We'll see.
Matt Kenseth did pit, but here are the 10 who did not. Tony Stewart, Jeremy Mayfield, Elliott Sadler, Jeff Gordon, Casey Mears, Scott Riggs, Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte. Those 10 did not pit as we go back under the green flag.
And Casey Kane came out of the pits first. He only added fuel to the number 9 car, and a wedge adjustment. Felt like we needed an adjustment.
3 wide. 3 wide. Jimmy Johnson underneath Riggs and Casey Mears in the 41 and almost pulled it off.
That was for 5th place. Up ahead, Jeff Gordon around Elliott Sadler to pick up 3rd. And now Jimmy Johnson and Casey Mears.
That 41 car, Casey Mears, he gets around this place very good.
Yeah, he had a great race here last year and then got caught up in an incident late in the race and didn't get a decent finish out.
And he's been good in practice, qualified well, so he's got to watch.
See Scott Riggs, the 10 car. Rusty Wallace was able to get under and get by. Here comes Terry Labonte, the 5, trying to get by.
That's going to be for 8th place. 2-time champion Labonte in the 5, trying to double up on the weekend after his son won the NASCAR Busch Series race here yesterday. Terry on the first caution when all the leaders pitted stayed on the track for a couple of laps to collect bonus points. If you're new to NASCAR, you get 5 bonus points towards the championship if you lead a lap during a race. So he did that, then he pitted, which put him at the end of the line for the restart. So now when all these other guys pitted in front of him on this caution, they stayed out, and it gets him some track position back.
Casey Kane made the pass on Riggs on the outside. That was pretty strong.
It was strong. As a matter of fact, he almost got the outside retainer.
He did.
There's Casey Kane in the 9 car. Driving for Ray Evernham. Started second. And speaking of second, Casey's teammate Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 just overtaken by Jeff Gordon.
So put Gordon with 4 fresh tires.
And some adjustments.
And some adjustments in second place. Can he run down Tony Stewart?
As long as he didn't run over anything when that stuff came off of Ricky Rudd's car before. Jeff Gordon trying for another win. He's been on you might say a little bit of a hot streak lately.
Yeah, slight. He's only won 2 in a row.
That's all. Right in the thick of the fight for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Championship. He's 3rd in points. Well in position to qualify for that chase for the championship come this fall. Gordon is 2.5 behind leader Tony Stewart. And time now to take you through the field. It's our Visa through the field. Tony Stewart is the race leader. That's where we start off. Here's Matt Yoakum.
Tony Stewart doing what he's done in the past 2 races here in Chicago. Out front, yarding the competition. His car, even after the 2-tire change and the wedge adjustment, still a tick on the free side, Bill.
Jeff Gordon's car before the race was set up for tight conditions, but it's still been loose since the green flag. Under their only pit stop, tire pressure adjustment and a wedge adjustment. Gordon up to second. He's okay when he's behind traffic, loose in 1 and 2 when he's in front. Marty?
Bill, remember Jeremy Mayfield on the first stop took no tires, fuel only. That got him the track position he needed. He started 19th as he tries to go, or does go around Jeff Gordon. And so he's on the tires he started the race with. The car is just a little bit tight right now. Behind him, the 38 of Elliott Sadler, actually behind Jeff Gordon. His car has been just a little bit tight all day long. He told the guys, you did an excellent job yesterday. The car is just where we need it. A little bit tight, not too bad, Matt.
Before the last stop, Marty, Jimmy Johnson told Chad Canals, we are 1 small adjustment away from being very, very strong. They made a wedge adjustment, 4-tire change. Meanwhile, the other Casey Mears is having a great run today in the 6th position. His car on the tight side, but he tells his team it is quick, no adjustments, right side tires on his last stop, Dave.
Matt, Rusty Wallace was pretty happy with his race car. On lap 18, they changed 4 tires and made no changes, but 1 lap ago, Rusty radioed his crew and said, too tight. Bill?
Rookie Casey Kane chasing his first Nextel Cup Series wins. Stopped for fuel and a wedge adjustment only under the last caution because the car is tight through the center and off the turns. Terrible start for Terry Labonte in the 5 car. Out to lunch was the report. Under their first stop, they took a rubber out, made an air pressure adjustment, track bar adjustment, and wedge.
Dave? Mark Martin made a prediction on the lap 18 pit stop. He said this car is going to be a lot better once it gets to biting the track later on. Well, I think it's biting because they came down, took fuel only when he came down on that last caution. He's still very happy with the handling. Alan?
And I'll tell you what, he's also pretty fast right now in traffic. He's probably one of the fastest cars out there.
Speaking of fast, Tony Stewart is yarding. That was the phrase Matt Yoakum used, right? He's hitting a home run right now. He has opened up a 3 3/4 second lead on 2nd place Jeremy Mayfield as a new 3rd place runner, Jimmy Johnson.
Jeff Gordon still struggles in the 24 cars. He gives up another spot, 248.
Let's keep our Visa through the field going to 11th place runner Scott Riggs. Dave?
Yeah, Scott Riggs was one of those cars that decided to take 2 tires on that lap 18 pit stop for track position. His car was a little bit tight from the center off. He picked up 3 positions early in the race, but has fallen back just a little bit with those 2 tires. As for the 99 of Jeff Burton, he just stopped, took 2 right side tires and fuel, also made a wedge adjustment because his car had gone a little bit tight. Marty?
Dave Dale Jarrett has said very little on the radio. He started 29th today. His car is up to 13th position. He is very happy with it. They made no changes on the first stop and took 2 tires only. Right behind him, Joe Nemechek. His car was terrible early. Very, very loose for Joe Nemechek. He went 2 rounds down the track bar. They also made a wedge adjustment, and now they're out on the track running a lot better right now. Bill?
Marty Sterling Marlin stopped on lap 40. In car 40, they adjusted the left side tires, added some gas, took the rubber out of the left rear tire. He was in 17th then, hanging around the same spot now, tight on the exit. As for the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., well, let's let them tell the story.
I want to go in the corner harder and wider out. I want to stay out longer so I can make the middle quicker, but I can't because it's so loose in. If I could drive it in far straight, but then it pushes real bad in the middle. It's just like just diving in the corner.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is fighting to get a handle on these tires. He has trouble at this track. Obviously, also had trouble earlier this year at Las Vegas. Marty?
Matt Kenseth with those 4 fresh tires that he got on lap 39, trying to make his way through the field. The car has just been a little bit tight all afternoon. Matt has run very well at this racetrack. He told the guys on that last run, fix me here, and we can make some progress. Matt?
All day Saturday, Marty, Bobby Labonte fought a balance issue with his race car. It would be way on the tight side or on the opposite of the spectrum, way on the loose side. They have slowly dialed it in. He has worked his way inside the top 20 with a wedge and air pressure adjustment. Bill.
Dave Blaney having a good run coming off the finish last weekend at Daytona when he came home 15th. Currently inside the top 20, trying to get a top 15, top 10. Matt.
The 41, Casey Mears on pit road. Water had climbed to over 250 degrees. The reason, some debris on the grill. It looks to be a tear-off off of another race car. 4 tire change as well. No other adjustments. Tough break for Casey Mears.
Yeah, he was 6th when he peeled off and came down the pit lane, Matt. And he's going to lose a lap with this unscheduled stop. Tony Stewart is the race leader. 3.7 seconds up on second place Jeremy Mayfield. We were getting that report on Dale Jr. listening to the radio conversation between he and his crew. And Wally, your eyebrows shot up instantly.
Yeah, I know exactly what he's going through. What he's going through is when you go down the straightaway, you want to stay way up against the wall and arc the car in. So watch as we go down into turn 1 here. We're in the tri-oval. We want to go to turn 1. When your car is loose in, if you stay out and turn right here, the car wants to get loose. So you're afraid to turn the steering wheel. So what you have to do is, like Dale was talking about, you have to drive the car straight in and not turn the wheel. When you do that, it gets you to the center and it makes the car push. So he is driving to try to adjust to the car. In other words, the car's loose and he's changing his line to make the car tight.
And that's what really makes great race car drivers and average race car drivers. A driver that can change his line throughout the race to make his car go faster. Not change the car, just change the way he drives it.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., after starting the race in 25th position, is up to 16th now. And trying to hang in there, obviously with some work to do still to get that car's handling to his liking. These kind of racetracks, the tracks that are not the super high bank speedways, they've kind of been the struggle for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his team this year. They continue to work to try and perfect their setup on these tracks.
And they've gone to Kentucky Speedway for 4 straight weeks testing, trying to get better for here.
Because if you remember at Las Vegas, they were awful, and they knew they had a lot of work to do.
Matt, what happened to the 41 car?
Well, BP, when he pulled into his pit stall, the tear-off, which was on the grill of that race car, fell off the grill. The water had climbed over 250 degrees. Now, another problem for his teammate, the 42, Jimmy McMurray. He pitted under the previous caution. The reason? This was stuck in the grill of his race car.
Wow. And that came from the 21, right, Matt?
Came from the 21. A brace. To Marty.
As we were going through the field, I was following the trials of Kevin Harvick. He radioed to his guys, said we have a tire going down. I don't know which one it is. He was running 15th at the time. He hits pit road running 25th. They not only have the oil problem, the oil temperature was up to almost 300 earlier today. Now they have a tire go down. They have to pit out of sequence. The 2-time Chicago winner down here early.
And you know what? They got a lot of tape on that car.
He has no opening in the grill.
If you look at the front of the car here, there's a lot of tape on that grill. Now, what that does is that helps the downforce of the car, but you're blocking off the opening for the cooling. So, Marty, do you think that may be a problem? Did they take any of that off?
That was one of the problems, Wally, and what they did on the very first stop, they pulled a 1-inch strip of tape off where the oil cooler is to get some air to the oil cooler, trying to bring that oil temperature down. Like I said, it was at 300. It's now down to 250.
All right, so we'll continue to follow Kevin Harvick, another one of those drivers toward the backside of the top 10 in the championship standings who have had troubles today. Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch already in the garage area with troubles.
Check it out right now. After Harvick makes that unscheduled stop, Casey Kane has moved to within 6 points of 10th. Mayfield only 37 back. Mark Martin only 65 out of 10th.
And Casey Kane was 111 points from 10th place starting today's race. Tony Stewart with a big lead after 100 miles here at Chicagoland Speedway. How about a check of the Wendy's race menu? Next weekend is summer vacation for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, but in a couple of weeks, it's New Hampshire International Speedway. It'll be on TNT at 1:30 Eastern Time. The following Sunday, the big 2.5-mile triangle in Pocono, Pennsylvania. Then it's the Brickyard 400 and the road course in Watkins Glen. Our Wendy's race menu following NASCAR action through the summer on NBC and TNT. Here's your race leader just past 100 miles. Here at Chicagoland Speedway in the Tropicana 400, Tony Stewart out in front of Jimmy Johnson by 3.7 seconds. With Jeremy Mayfield, Elliott Sadler, and Mark Martin rounding out the top 5. We're riding on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. a little while earlier. We want to go back and look at that from inside the race car and see what kind of work he's doing with the wheel and the gas pedal and all the rest.
Yeah, we can watch him here, and well, he looks like he's talking to somebody right there. Got his hand off the wheel, but you kind of watch his arms and you listen to the throttle. Takes a long time to get to the throttle, and he's real gentle on the throttle. So he's driving that thing like he's being very careful.
The steering wheel just doesn't move on these cars as much as they used to, because used to it looked like the driver was fighting flies.
Just a little tight. The car started off real tight and it kind of neutraled up. Now the fact it's just a little snug. I really ain't gonna make nothing but a small change. Well, next time we'll put 4 tires on it. See what we're saying.
See, as it sounds like as that fuel burned off, his car's got tight where it was really loose earlier in the run. Now, let's go take a look at a guy that's handling very well right now. It'll be the 6-car Mark Martin, who's running in 5th place.
Hear him back off the throttle, go down the corner.
And look at his arms. They don't move. He's got that steering wheel locked, and that's the sign of a good handling race car. When you don't have to jerk and pull on that steering wheel, he goes down the corner, he sets the steering wheel, and he lets the car do the work.
It's funny to watch different driving styles, too. You know, some guys have the hands at 10 and 2, but Mark Martin, if you look right here on his right elbow, he has a pad like you might wear if you're playing softball or volleyball in a gym somewhere. And he rests that arm on the steering wheel and takes those hands all the way over, always has.
And that's exactly how I do it. When I get in a car, when I get fitted to a car, I measure the wheel, and if the wheel touches, just touches my right elbow, that's when I know how to set the seat position.
Comings and goings from the racetrack.
Ryan Newman has come back on the racetrack with a new nose on the car. He's back in 41st position. He's 56 laps down. He's missing one thing, the hood.
And a lot of downforce. And a lot.
Yeah.
And off to the garage, Kevin LePage and P.J. Jones have gone behind the wall. Tony Stewart in command by 5.2 seconds. It was 3.7 just a little while ago.
Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois, where the Nextel Cup Series hits the halfway mark this afternoon. 400 miles on this track, the 18th race of the season. They have been door to door throughout the race. Some interesting changes up front, but Alan, there's been some trouble on the track and guys coming to pit road.
Yeah, how about the 3rd place car, Bill? Jeremy Mayfield dropping off the pace. It's coming in here at lap 82, Marty.
Well, remember, Alan, he's out of sequence with everyone else, so he's going to take 4 tires and fuel here. They pitted for fuel only, so this is the first time Mayfield has changed tires his entire race. His car is just a little bit tight, a little slow on the left side, pitting under green flag here at Chicago.
Yep, the jack man had a little bit of trouble there.
He turned the handle on the jack to let the car down, and it didn't work. And he had to do it again, and that just cost a lot of time as Jeff Gordon now comes on pit road in the 24 car.
These would be the 10 cars or so that did not pit at lap 40 when a lot of the other front runners did. It's been 63 laps for Mayfield, now 64 for Gordon since the pit stops, plus the few laps of caution we had in there. So Jeff Gordon is in under the green. That means we should expect to see Tony Stewart in very shortly. And in fact, here he comes now. Bill, here's Jeff Gordon to you.
Making the trip down pit road, Alan. Last radio transmission. I'm just hanging on. He was afraid he was going to knock the wall down in 1 and 2. They told him, do the best you can. We'll get you in here when possible. 4 tires, rubber out of the right rear on this start. On this stop, they started the race with rubbers in the right rear and the left rear. That makes the car more adjustable. That's the story of the 24. Matt.
Tony Stewart gave up a 3.5-second lead on pit road for a scheduled stop. No adjustments for the 20 car. Tony said the car is settling in nicely.
Good pit stop.
Jimmy Johnson peeling off of turn number 4. Johnson just led a lap, so he collects 5 bonus points toward the next Cup championship. Elliott Sadler follows him onto the pit lane. Marty?
Elliott Sadler's been so happy with his car, Alan. Same car that he won with in Texas. He told me this morning, I had the same feeling I had at Texas. He said, we're just a little bit tight, free me up a little bit, Todd. To his crew chief, Todd Parrott. That's a half pound on the right front tire. Excellent run for the M&M's car so far, Matt.
Chassis adjustment already completed on the right side of Jimmy Johnson's Chevrolet. The car was tight trying to fix that, but it was very comfortable on entry.
13-8.
Got to keep an eye on these guys who are going to start dropping these air pressures, so got to be careful on these right fronts. Don't forget what we talked about. If you start too low, you're going to build up way too much heat. You're going to have problems there.
Rusty Wallace heading toward his crew for a pit stop, Dave.
Alan, his car, which had been given no adjustments, now needs them. Look at the wrenches going in the rear there. That will adjust the chassis. That will make the car looser. That will help Rusty's car turn. They also fill it full of fuel, put fresh rubber on there, and send Rusty back out. Fuel still going in. They wave. He goes.
And here comes Scott Riggs off the banking for his pit stop. Remember, these are the 10 cars that did not stop under the caution at lap 40 when everybody else did. Dave?
Happy to serve. Back down here with the 10 car of Scott Riggs. 4 tires and fuel. No adjustments for him. He had actually picked up a couple of positions on the last part of the run. Started 16th, was running 7th before cars started pitting. Fuel going in now. Through finishing up with the lug nuts. They sent rookie Riggs back out.
Hey, if the yellow comes out now, these guys are in trouble.
Here's a race for second place. Casey Kane in the 9, Sterling Marlin in the 40. The leader's Mark Martin now, by virtue of the pit stops. Remember, Mark did stop at lap 40.
Fuel only.
Trying to see who we're waiting for here. Jamie McMurray and Terry Labonte should be the final 2 to stop that didn't pit back at lap 40. So Mark's the leader. He's 3.1 seconds ahead of that race for second between Kane and Marlin. Then you got Jeff Burton 4th, Matt Kenseth up to 5th. Terry Labonte 6th for now. Then Dale Jarrett up to 7th. Greg Biffle 8th, despite the damage from earlier. Joe Nemechek 9th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 10th. Tony Stewart, who has been the dominant driver so far, is a lap down in 23rd place and hoping not to see. We come back to Chicagoland Speedway as the leader comes to pit road. Mark Martin, what I think is a little early, coming to the attention of his crew.
What's wrong with the 8 car?
Oh, Dale Jr.'s off the pace on the front stretch. Dave, cover the Martin stop for us.
Alan, I talked with the crew chief for Mark Martin this morning. That's Pat Trice. And I said, how's your fuel mileage? He said, not good. So that may be one reason why he's coming in a little bit earlier than you would think he would. No adjustments on the car.
Did the 8 car miss pit road?
Yeah, he missed pit road. He was coming that time. Missed it.
All right.
Lost a lot of ground, and that's a problem here at this racetrack. This pit entry is very tricky.
There's the speed limit line. It's got to be down to 45 miles an hour, and it is a very long pit road here at Chicagoland. So, Bill, you've got time to tell us a story or two before he gets to you.
Well, it was a long time ago in a land far, far away when this team was leading the championship standings, Alan. But, boy, they come to some tracks where Tony Eury Jr. told me this morning, as we talked about, and you mentioned Dale Earnhardt Jr. just cannot get a handle on the tires at certain tracks. This is one of those tracks. Just can't get the handle on an air pressure chassis adjustment. We'll send him back out. But for the guys second in the championship standings, this isn't what they were hoping for. But the new format does give them a little bit of margin for error.
It was a nice story, Bill. We'll have to wait till Homestead to see if they all live happily ever after.
Touche.
Too fast entering the pit road for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's going to have to come back for a pass-through penalty.
That's going to leave a mark.
That means today won't have a happy ending.
No, there'll be no fairy tales.
Too fast center.
And Wally, as you said, that is a problem because these guys are coming through that turn at 160, 70 miles per hour, and they've got to slow down to 45 miles per hour. It's almost an impossibility.
Right.
Watch the line. There you go.
Right there is the line, and it is. You're right, BP. It's tough to get these cars slowed down, period, let alone where that line is.
So he's got to come down pit road at pit road speed. He doesn't have to stop, but he's got to make a pass through down pit road.
Don't come in the box. Keep going.
That's right. Don't stop. Just keep going. But at 45.
It feels like you're crawling.
Well, at 45 compared to 185, you are.
Marty 88's on pit road, Marty.
Yeah, running in 5th, BP, having a terrific day right now. A little bit tight on throttle, he says. They go half a round down in the right rear wedge bolt. That should loosen his car up just a little bit. Nice stop for the 88 bunch, 4 tires.
Dale Jarrett started in 29th spot. He's worked his way up toward the top 10. Matt Kenseth is now the race leader as these cycles of pit stops continue. You've got Casey Kane in, Sterling Marlin, Michael Waltrip, Ken Schrader. Joe Nemechek is on pit road. Here come Brian Vickers and Bobby Labonte in for stops. Bill?
Well, no time for stories this time, except to tell you that Tommy Baldwin said the 9 car of Casey Kane is a little bit tight, sliding up the turns just a little bit. No major adjustments, chassis adjustments, some air pressure adjustment on the 9 car. Also on pit road, the 40 of Sterling Marlin, working on that car to send Sterling back out, trying to keep pace with the leaders as the 9 takes off.
Matt Kenseth, rather, on pit road. He was the race leader for a couple of laps. Dave Blaney is now out in front. Let's cover the Kenseth stop.
Matt Kenseth was tight, Alan. What they do is they pull a spring rubber from the race car. That limits the travel of the spring inside the car. That should make his car looser. He also wanted a bag of ice and water. Said it's extremely hot inside the race car.
It is very warm, humid day here in Joliet, Illinois today. These drivers getting a hot summer's workout. Blaney gives up the lead for his pit stop. That'll put Robbie Gordon into the top spot. Dave Blaney driving for Richard Childress Racing. His 4th race with this team after taking over Johnny Sauter about a month ago. Ricky Craven also on and off pit road from a stop. Bill?
And Dave Blaney pulls that car to a stop. They go around to the right side. Blaney trying to make an impression not only on the fans, but also on his car owner and his team at Richard Childress Racing. Chassis adjustment and air pressure adjustment, trying to make the 30 of Dave Blaney a little better here at Chicagoland. Quick stop, he's on his way.
Penalty call has been made on Ricky Craven for too fast exiting the pit road. He'll come through for a pass-through.
Man, you hate that.
And the leader is Robbie Gordon. Once he stops, the lead will go back to Tony Stewart. So we'll cycle through the pit stops without any caution flag damage to some of the guys who had to stop earlier. And that pretty much puts everybody back on mostly level ground as far as fuel mileage.
But it appears that the guys who stopped a little bit earlier, like Jeremy and those guys, are a little bit at a disadvantage, it seems like.
Whoa, look out.
Locking it down.
Guys like Casey Kane and these guys are really fast right now, so...
Just being out of sync that much.
Just being out of sync that much, I think, is going to hurt them in the long run.
So Tony Stewart is now the race leader as Robbie Gordon brings the singular car to his crew. I'd say they were going to try and dial up some chassis adjustments, but that would be...
Yeah, he's still a little tight, Alan. Good call. Chassis adjustment and some air pressure, but the 31's still a little tight.
And I think Robbie's going to lose a lot of time because he stayed out there a long time, Bill, and his times were really, really slow. So he lost a lot of track position even before he came down pit road.
That's the thing, that with the tires that they're using this year in NASCAR Next Gen Cup Racing, the advantage of the fresher tires, I was thinking about Mark Martin's pit stop and how he was kind of maybe 5 to 8 laps early on his stop, but once Tony Stewart came in, he didn't have much of a choice, did he? It
forces your hand, it really does.
Did something just happen to the 20 car, because he was right behind the 18 of Labonte, and now Labonte is several car lengths in front of him. Okay, let's see what happened.
It's John Andretti in the 1. Boink.
Oh, man. That to me looked like he got a little bit angry with John and drove into his door.
But, you know, if he knocks that right front fender in, we talked about just how important the downforce is here at this racetrack.
Well, keep an eye on Tony's lap times. He's still up on Jimmy Johnson by 4 3/4 seconds, and he's running pretty competitive times right now. What happened before the one we just saw?
All right, here we got Jamie McMurray down, and John drifts up in front of Tony.
I don't know.
I don't really see anything there.
It looked like Tony was just trying to get out wide, as you talked about a moment ago with Earnhardt Jr., to make that entry in really wide. And
pretty tough to do when you got a car on the side.
Yeah, that's right.
Tony is a lightning rod. Anytime he does anything, it gets attention. There's no question. And he is that way because of his past actions on and off the track.
But he is slowing down. I just think he's slowing down. That he's not as fast as he was before. I don't know.
If he knocked that right front fender in VP, you know how important that is. I don't know if he was further up on the one car when he did that, but if he hurt the integrity of that front fender, that is so important at a racetrack like this. But I don't see any.
I don't see any damage.
Tony was a topic of a lot of discussion in the garage a week ago at Daytona Beach, Florida. He had the altercation with with Brian Vickers after the race at Sonoma, California, a couple of weeks ago, and was put on probation and fined by NASCAR. Also had 25 championship points taken away. And a lot of people in the garage were discussing exactly what probation means and at what point a suspension comes into play for drivers. We saw Kevin Harvick. We saw Jimmy Spencer sat down by NASCAR. Tony had been on probation before, and his lack of putting him on probation again brought that discussion point up for a lot of people. What point probation means anything to anybody?
Yeah, I don't know what probation means. I think, you know, you got to get to the point and find out where's the line. What did Jimmy Spencer do and Kurt Busch do compared to what Tony Stewart do? I mean, if you go through the window at somebody, as far as I'm concerned, that's where you need to draw the line. I mean, I'm glad Tony shows his emotions. We've got enough guys, I think, that are robots in this sport. I think it's great that somebody comes out and he's aggressive and he wears his emotions on his collar. But that, you know, where you draw the line on how NASCAR calls him and sees him, I think we need to get to a point and say, okay, if you do this, no matter what, then you sit out a race, because that's the only thing that's going to get a race driver's attention. If you can find me and you can take some points away, but if you make me sit home and watch one of these races, it's going to get my attention.
And what really concerned me about that whole situation was NASCAR's credibility, because after all, that's all they sell is credibility, and they've taken some hit this year. You know, the new point system, Rockingham, the race going away, only one race now in Darlington, South Carolina. So some credibility issues.
Just be consistent.
But, you know, I talked to Mike Helton this morning, and I told him I was going to say, you know, the people have a problem with your credibility. He said the reason that we did not suspend Tony Stewart was on the Jimmy Spencer thing. We had Jimmy Spencer and Kurt Busch in our trailer previous times before that saying, guys, you've got to leave each other alone. You've got to stop doing this. Otherwise, we're going to have to step in. And finally, when Spencer took a punch at Kurt Busch, they had to suspend him. That was Mike Helton's story. But again, I think they've really injured their credibility with a lot of fans.
And that's a good story, but nobody knows that story. So they're going to take the hit, you know. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that people don't see, and that's a classic example. But I think there's a point where if you go in somebody's car after somebody, that should be a no-no.
Richard Petty said a couple of weeks ago, he said, hey, we used to get in each other's faces all the time. There just weren't any of you press people around to know it. Well, they're here now, and they do know it, and it changes the code of conduct for drivers after a race. Tony Stewart is leading 4.5 seconds on Jimmy Johnson. We are just past 150 miles of the Tropicana 400 at the Chicagoland Speedway. And we come back to the Chicagoland Speedway just as the caution flag comes out. Troubles for Ricky Craven.
Tide ride, blow up,
puff of smoke.
And in one more lap, Jeff Gordon would have been lapped by Tony Stewart. What a lucky break for Gordon.
The caution unlucky for Dale Jarrett, who had just come onto pit road for an unscheduled stop. Report is he had a cut tire. He's back in 29th, now 2 laps down. And caution also was kind of unlucky for Dale Jr. because he's not the first car 1 lap down after his pass-through penalty, and he is trapped back in 28th position, 1 lap down.
It's like the Lucky Dog Award winner is going to be Ward Burton.
You would be correct, BP. So once the leaders come to pit road, he will be able to pass the pace car and come around and rejoin the end of the lead lap.
Get his bone.
Yep.
His big old bone.
So we're at 120 laps of 267, and Tony Stewart's crew will get a chance to look at those right side fenders and see if he creased them any with the contact between he and John Andretti.
I don't think that was, I mean, I really think that when you see a car get out in the open, when you get them out front, they pick up 2 or 3 tenths of a second. When they're around other cars, they lose that 3 tenths of a second because of the aero.
And he was in heavy traffic.
And he was in traffic at that time.
So I think all these cars will probably now change 4 tires, and we'll see if his crew can get him back in front. If they can't,
I think
then he
you're
passes
wrong.
those cars. What do you think?
I think you're wrong.
You don't think they're going to change all 4 tires, Bill?
I just think you're wrong.
Okay, here comes Tony.
Leaders come to pit road along with the lap car of Ryan Newman. And Elliott Sadler's going to reach his pit first among these cars. Marty?
And he's in 4th place. And scary enough, Alan, I think they're listening to Wally, or at least Wally got it right. They're going to put the air pressure back, worried about going too low on that right front air pressure. They go down or up half a round on the track bar, trying to loosen them up. Dave?
Mark Martin still moving the steering wheel very little, which means no changes on his car. It's handling perfectly. 4 tires and fuel. Remove the windshield tear-offs. Matt?
Service has already been completed on Tony Stewart Chevrolet. He needed to be tightened up and tick on entry to center to help on the takeoff, Bill.
Sterling Marlin already away. Benny, he took 2 tires and fuel. That car is good. Watch the 40 of Marlin.
All right, we got our eyes on him, but Tony Stewart is right behind him with 4 tires, Bill.
Hey, Bill, I want to be riding with Tony, I believe, on this race.
Yeah, I do
what do
too.
you think,
I do too.
We'll put you in the 40 car, Robert.
Bill, let me get you to go check.
You're not driving, are you, Wally?
Yeah, that's true. Let me get you to go check Casey Kane, Bill, because I think he got 2 tires also. I know his teammate Jeremy Mayfield also got just right side tires.
So somebody else might have taken 2?
They might have.
Yeah. And a long pit stop for Jeff Gordon.
And that's because he just said the last transmission from him, this car is really bad. I'm driving sideways. Not very happy going for his 3rd consecutive win. Again, as we told you earlier in the race, they started out with a tight setup, but it's been loose all day. They continue to battle it.
Don't count those guys out just yet.
We're not even halfway.
Oh,
no! Just as we come back to Chicagoland, that's the race leader, Casey Kane. He took fuel only on the restart, and he's got company in the big pile.
Junior, the 8 car has crashed.
Dave Blaney, John Andretti was involved. 4 tires, no tires, 2 tires.
And Jeff Burton, the 99 car.
You think somebody spun their tires on a restart?
No, because Tony Stewart jumped up on the outside of Sterling Marlin and passed him on the restart, which was legal, but he might have made contact with the 9 car.
Scott Riggs with damage. He was having a good run. Casey Kane took fuel only on his pit stop, got out front with the lead. His teammate Jeremy Mayfield and Sterling Marlin only took right side tires. Tony Stewart was the first one with 4 tires. He got an incredible jump on the restart to the outside. You see Blaney waiting for help.
I'm interested to see what happened myself, Wally. I did see Tony get that great jump.
He did get a good start. Let's watch here. Tony gets on the outside of the 40.
I think when he goes up on the outside of the 9, or wait a minute, we'll see.
But you know what? What caused that? You got a guy that's not on new tire.
Wow.
BP, there's a big fight in the 20 pit. Tommy Baldwin, a number of the Dodge guys came down to talk to the 20 crew members. NASCAR officials do have Tommy Baldwin. They are trying to break this up. Huge altercation down here in the 20 pit, guys.
Man.
Here's my point on this deal, guys. When some guys take tires, some guys don't take tires. If you don't have new tires, you can't go into turn 1 as hard as the guy that's got new tires. So Casey Kane went into the corner, but he couldn't charge the corner like Tony Stewart, who had the new tires.
There we see Tommy Baldwin, the crew chief on the right, the light-haired fellow, the dark-haired fellow, Jim Pullman, the car chief.
And it may not be over yet.
No, doesn't look like it.
That's the problem when you have the different tire deal.
Jason Shapiro there, the NASCAR official. Tempers have boiled.
Yes, they have. Hey, this is no different than any sporting event.
That happens in the booth all the time when
Exactly.
you guys aren't watching.
Turn that camera off, because I'm fixed to hit Wally.
All right, let's go back and show it to you again.
All right, now listen. Here you got 20 on fresh tires. Now he gets a great start. Now the 9 doesn't have fresh tires, so he's going to have to be a little bit more careful getting the corner. He's going to back out early. Tony doesn't. He can drive in deeper because he's got newer tires. That's what caused that deal.
He ran the back of the 9 car, just turned him, and into the wall he went.
Tony just did not expect the 9 car to lift And maybe he wasn't told that he was on older tires. Unfortunately, it took out a lot of good race cars.
Never see the contact between the 10.
Wow,
but nobody did anything wrong on that deal. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're driving the car to how the car feels. It just, you know, the 9 had to get out earlier because he wasn't on the fresher tires.
See Dale Jr. get knocked around and spun. Second place driver in the championship.
And once the 9 car comes off the wall, he leaves those other fellows behind him with no place to go. You know, we're talking about the guy that was leading the race spinning.
On a restart with the whole field bunched up together. Fortunately, they weren't all up to top speed yet.
Sure did a lot of damage not being up to top speed, though, as well.
On board Dale Jr.
And he got nowhere to go in a situation like this. I mean, well, actually, Junior checked up and somebody hit him.
Someone ran the back of him and spun him around. That's right.
And you're trying to pick your way through on a wreck like this. When you're in something like this, you're seeing things happen. When you back off, sometimes you get nailed. Wow, that was a great job by Jeremy Mayfield.
Scott Riggs, he doesn't make out as well.
He sees something happen, he checks up.
And in front of you.
Checks up.
Back her down.
Oh, here
and has nowhere to go.
There comes a 30, which leaves him no place to go. Let's see. There, Tony Stewart goes by the 40 car. And here he comes up right on the back of the 9 and just touches him, but just entering the corner, turns the 9, around he goes.
And you see Dale Jr.'s car on pit road for repairs, and Jeff Burton is already back into the garage. Dave Burns is with him.
Yeah, a man who had a great car, was running the high line like you talked to Benny about, and then Jeff, what happened out there?
I really don't know what happened. I just saw the 9 car sideways, and I don't know what started. It obviously got run into based on the way he was pointed, and then the guys behind me just didn't get checked up. You know, it's just one of those things. Nobody behind me did anything wrong. It's just it's just a big wreck. You can't see through these cars, and one thing led to another. Really disappointing. The Comcast board was pretty decent. We had a easy top 67 car, and just bad luck right now.
How bad is the damage? Can you get back out?
The chassis is not hurt. It just it knocked the oil cooler and knocked all that stuff out of it, so it doesn't have any oil pressure. I shut it off and I'm sure we didn't hurt the engine, but we got to fix the radiator and all that. The frame's not hurt, but the body and the radiator and all that stuff's tore up.
You hear the work going on. Let's go over to Matt.
Well, Dave, here in the 20 pit, Scott Deal is on a golf cart. He is going to be taken to the infield care center, or they're going to try to administer some work on his elbow and his face. He does have scratches. His elbow is bleeding. He was knocked down on the concrete. Other than that, he is okay.
You know, when there's trouble though in that pit, he's one of the first guys that's going to protect you. So he's the guy that you want on your team.
The car chief on this team. Now, the incident started when Tom Baldwin Jr., Casey Kane's crew chief, came down to the 20 pit to voice his frustrations with Greg Zipadelli over what happened on the racetrack.
And from there, they all ended up in a pile.
And believe me, Tommy Baldwin's no wuss either.
No.
Well, I can tell you one thing for certain, Matt.
Well, now it's just cleanup here in the 20 pit, as NASCAR officials have already talked to J.D. Gibbs and Greg Zipadelli, Jimmy Maycar. Now, what the 20 team will do now, they're going to go through their pit, clean things up, make sure they have the tires in the right position, make sure everything in their pit that they need to service the race car, which was knocked over and moved around during that scuffle, is okay and back in place for the next time Tony Stewart hits pit road.
I can tell you one thing for certain. There will be some fines and or suspensions and or whatever coming out of that.
But, you know, once again, Tony this year, you know, he's been impatient. Several times he's been impatient. And this was another classic example of being impatient. You know,
I understand what you're saying, VP, but I've been in that situation. I mean, I crashed Jeff Gordon one time at Rockingham, same deal. I mean, I was on new tires and he was on older tires, and I went down into turn 1 and he got out of the gas a lot quicker than I expected, and man, he was gone. So
On a restart?
On a restart.
Oh. Bill?
Well, Benny, some of the other guys trying to work on their cars that were involved in that crash. Third lengthy stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They have checked the toe. They have checked the rear. It's all properly aligned. They taped up the right side, and they tried to tape up some of the crush panels that would keep the fresh air in the car and hopefully the fumes out of the car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt?
Now, Bill, a further update here in the 20 pit. Now, under this caution, Tony Stewart was telling Zippy his side of what happened on the racetrack. He said he didn't know if the 9 car checked up or if something happened. He saw him starting to check up. He tried to roll out of the throttle the best he could without causing something behind him, and then you saw what happened.
Yeah, like I said, I really believe Matty checked up because the 9 went in as far as he could with those tires.
The end result is that there are a few cars in the garage, a few cars beaten up, and Tony Stewart is the race leader.
A few guys beaten up.
A few guys beaten up, too, yeah. Dale Jarrett and Robbie Gordon got a lap back because they were in front of the leader when the caution came out. In this mess, down in turn 1 on a restart. Casey Kane leading, contact with he and Tony Stewart. Those involved in the wreck. Jeff Gordon has made several pit stops. He continues in competition. John Andretti does as well. Casey Kane has taken his car to the garage for repairs along with Jeff Burton and Dave Blaney. Tony Stewart is the race leader over Sterling Marlin, Jeremy Mayfield, Jimmy Johnson, and Elliott Sadler. We have 22 cars on the lead lap. We added a couple there under that last caution. Scott Wimmer was the lucky dog, plus Dale Jarrett and Robbie Gordon.
All right, BP, now we'll see if that 20 car takes off again because he's out front in clean air. We thought there was something wrong with his car earlier. We'll see if it was the traffic that was a problem. In the meantime, you got the guys in the back that are in traffic. Sterling Marlin, Jimmy Johnson back there.
Remember that Marlin and Jeremy Mayfield only got right side tires on their pit stops there a little while ago. Casey Kane is with Marty Snyder.
Casey, what happened?
I just got the restart. Going through the gears, I was just shifting into 4th. My car got loose and hit the wall. I don't know if obviously the 20 got in the back of me, but you know I don't know what the deal is there.
You two do have a history. Do you think it was personal or just racing?
Well, you never know with him, but you know, I don't think he's. It's tough to say with him. I don't really know. I just know that I was just getting ready to shift to 4th. My car was sliding a little bit, and as I pulled it into 4th, I was backwards in the wall. So it's too bad for our Dodge dealers team. It's disappointing.
Were you aware of the altercation on pit road between your team and his team?
I just heard about it. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Maybe we'll. I don't know.
All right, the young man truly had a shot to win this race, but he's done now.
It looks like Tony Stewart's car is okay, Wally, because the last lap, he turned his fastest lap of the day.
Yeah.
Well, one thing you can say about... all right, we'll follow up on that thought in a second. Dave?
Caught up with Tommy Baldwin now. Tommy, what happened out there on pit road?
Just Tony Stewart doing what he's been doing all year, driving like a moron. You know, there's no reason to do that stuff, and he gets away with it all he wants, and all NASCAR does is fine him. He's got plenty of money. The guy needs to sit out a race. That's it.
What was your intention when you went down to Greg? To talk about?
Talking to Zippy and tell him, you know, his driver's a moron. I got off the pit box. They started pushing me. Then the official grabbed me. I don't know what happened after that.
All right, it was a big melee, guys, and Tommy Baldwin obviously not happy what happened to his car today.
And Tommy has been invited to visit with NASCAR officials at the conclusion of today's race.
I guess we got to get it. Don't in basketball, isn't there a rule that the coaches can't leave the coach's box or the players can't? You can't leave your pit box, I guess. Got to come up with a rule.
We got a third man in rule in hockey. You can't be the third man in the fight.
Okay. Well.
As Tommy and let's see, it was Marty interviewing Casey, referenced history between Casey Kane and Tony Stewart. And just to bring you up to speed, if you don't recall the history, this goes back to Darlington in the spring.
Casey Kane, the 9, goes up. He thinks he's clear of Tony. Goes up and makes contact with Tony. Goes down the corner, and in my opinion, Tony deliberately spun out the 9 car.
I'll go with you on that one, BP.
And so that is, I think that kind of started things, the ball rolling.
But I don't know. I just see this thing different. I just see that Tony Stewart has got a lot of steam, and all of a sudden that 9 car Whether he was shifting gears or whatever, slow down in front of the 20 car.
Oh, I don't think this was a punt, a deliberate thing here. No, I don't think that
see
at all.
this as an intentional. I don't think Darlington had anything to do with just happened.
But it happened.
Well, but it happened.
And the tempers boiled.
Yep.
And the results you saw. And by the way, Greg Cipodelli, Tony Stewart's crew chief, has been invited for a visit with NASCAR officials after the race, too. I'll stand by my earlier statement. There'll be some money cashed in later this week and some fines and other things handed out, too. Tony Stewart leading this race. The 41 car of Casey Mears is a lap down. He's the first car a lap down in 23rd position. The next car chasing Tony is that car, Jimmy Johnson, 2 seconds behind.
And right now he's about as fast as Tony Stewart, running about the same speed as Tony Stewart. But Tony has a 2-second lead, just like you said, Alan. Maybe he's coasting a little bit right now.
And Casey Mears is staying right with Tony Stewart. He's running very well right now. He's running great lap time. So if he can get that lucky dog if the yellow comes out, or if he's lucky enough to pass Tony.
Casey had to make an unscheduled pit stop at lap 118, which dropped him off the lead lap, which is the hole he's trying to dig out of now. How about Tony Stewart's team, Matt?
Well, guys, to answer your questions about the race car before this caution, now Tony had never said anything on the radio concerning that contact. Basically what he needed help with, he needed the race car to be tightened up just a tick from the entry to center of the corner, especially on the takeoff, meaning when they dropped the green flag, the first part of the run. That's where he needed the most help, because he felt like he was giving up too much time before the car finally came in.
But when he was having problems was later in his run, where Benny and I saw it looked like there may have been some problems after he had contact with John Andretti. So that's what we thought was a fender problem.
And it could have been, just as we talked about, an aero situation, getting up behind the zero car aboard. Burt not being able to get by because of an aero push situation.
Well, they fixed it, Matt, regardless of whatever they did, because he looks like he's running pretty good right now off the bat.
Tony's lead over Jimmy Johnson, 2.1 seconds at this point. As you look back.
Now, see, I'm not sure if I was in Tony's spot, if I was just let that 41 go.
But the problem is, if the 41 slows down, Wally, and it is an aero push situation, he will not be able to pass him like he couldn't get by the zero car aboard Burton.
I think I'd get on my radio and I'd tell my spotter, listen, if I let the 41 go, he's going to have to go. If I get back to him, he's going to have to let me pass him.
There's Jimmy Johnson, one of the Gillette Young Guns, as we update where those drivers participating in that program are running today. The first micro power shaving system from Gillette, the new M3 Power. The new power behind the Gillette Young Guns. Johnson leading the charge for the Young Guns here in Chicagoland today. How about the 48 car, Matty?
Well, earlier in the race, Alan, he was tight trying to get back in the gas. Coming up off the corner, they made an air pressure adjustment to fix that. He also has some left front fender damage. Jimmy says that is making the car tight.
Damage in that jam up on the restart, I'm assuming.
Don't know.
Don't know, but
Matt will tell us for sure in a second here, I'll bet.
Doesn't matter. Damage looks like right there in the bottom, maybe the valence.
The very bottom of the front air dam.
See right there?
What's happening? It's dragging the racetrack and it's drug it back.
Yep. See right there in the right side of your screen, that valence is pushed backwards. That's not where it should be. It should be pushed out a little bit.
Matt's double checking with Chad Knaus for us to make sure where they picked that damage up, so we'll hear from him in a second.
And see Jimmy Johnson run this very, very high line. Matt, what are they saying?
BP, it happened on that restart.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate the hustle. So your championship leader in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, Jimmy Johnson, is chasing Tony Stewart right now. Johnson in search of his 4th win of 2004. Stewart looking for his 1st win of this year's campaign.
Well, it has been a rock'em sock'em day here at Chicagoland Speedway, on the track and off. On the track, Tony Stewart leading. Off the track, well, the sport parts aren't all in yet, but we can and take you through the field and tell you how your drivers are doing. We'll start with the 20 car. He's up front, and that's Matt Yoakum.
If you look back at Tony Stewart's career in Nextel Cup competition, he's never gone this deep into his season winless. He's trying to change that today. The car nearly perfect. Meanwhile, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, if you throw out a bad run at Bristol and Dover, he has had top 9 finishes dating all the way back to March. His car running very well as well. To Bill.
A quiet Sterling Marlin is a good Sterling Marlin. His car is strong. No changes for Sterling in the 40 car. Marty.
Bill Elliott Sadler having a very solid day in the 3rd position, a little bit tight in the middle. He came on the radio to the guys and in this exact tone said, it's no big deal. We got a good shot to win this thing today, trying for his 2nd win of the season. Behind him on the racetrack, Jeremy Mayfield has said nothing on this run. The car has been very neutral as the fuel burns off. He gets a little bit tighter the longer he runs, currently in 5th. Dave?
Rusty Wallace has been back and forth with the no change or slight change on his car. When he makes no changes, it takes a little time, but it eventually tightens up. That's what happened before the last pit stop. They made a slight air pressure change to get it looser. Bill?
Terry Labonte, who drives the 5 car, was in victory lane here yesterday at Chicagoland, celebrating with his son, who won the race. Right now, his car's a little tight in. His crew chief, Jim Long, says we just need some track position, and we'll be in pretty good shape. As for the 16 car, driven by Greg Biffle, he wants 1 round in the right rear on the next stop, so they'll make a chassis adjustment, trying to make that car, which runs good, but doesn't look so hot, a little bit better. Snyder.
Bill, how about this rebound for 2-time Chicago winner Kevin Harvick? At one point, 2 laps down under green flag pit stops. Now he's in 9th. The car was a little bit tight, but it's very good. Kevin's still in the game here. Behind him, Dale Jarrett on the racetrack, running with the leaders after he got down when he cut a right rear tire. DJ has said nothing. Very happy with the race car right now.
There are your top 10 of 21 cars on the lead lap. Tony Stewart's advantage over Jimmy Johnson is shrinking. It is down to 1.8 seconds at lap 160. Let's continue going through the field. Jamie McMurray's got one of the fastest cars on the track at this point, Matt.
It has been a long, patient day for Jamie McMurray. Back on lap 41, he had to give up a top 10 run to pull debris out of the grill. He has slowly worked his way back into contention. No adjustments on his last stop. He says the car is good, Dave.
Mark Martin's crew had trouble with the jack 2 stops ago. That made for a long pit stop. During the melee, they also pitted. They thought they might have pitted before pit road was open, so they moved to the tail end of the longest line just to make sure. They weren't sure if NASCAR was penalizing them or not. Marty?
Dave, about 15 laps ago, Joe Nemechek came on the radio and said, I'm getting a little frustrated, guys. The car is starting to slide the front nose pretty bad, very tight off the corners. Joe tested his Busch car here, said that really helped him out getting this car ready for today's race. Behind him, we told you not to forget about him. Michael Waltrip started 39th today. He's up to 14th, slowly creeping his way up. Car just a little bit tight. Mikey very happy, Dave.
Remember, Brian Vickers had damage on his car earlier. That caused the car to overheat in the front and handle poorly in the rear. They fixed both of those problems, and now the car is pretty quick. No changes on the last stop. Bill?
Ward Burton, driving the 0 car, told me they've made some aerodynamic changes for this race. If they go in a positive direction, they'll make more aerodynamic changes for 2 weeks. But listen to this, Benny. They did make 2 click changes on the shock. They made a 2-click change on the shock, Benny. You can work on that, and we'll talk about more of that later. Right now, we'll talk about the 17.
2003 Cup champ is not very happy with his race car right now, Bill. They have been tied all day long. Came down pit road last time, pulled that spring rubber out of the left rear. Matt said, I want it back. Now the car is way too loose. Bill?
Been a wild ride for Robbie Gordon today. Several pit stops, car a little bit tight, but he's hanging on in the top 20, hoping to make a move here in the second half of the race. Matt?
A good and bad day for Bobby Labonte, running 19th. The good, his 10-year-old son Tyler finished 3rd. And the Gasoline Alley Nationals at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a quarter major race earlier today. But the bad, his car is loose again. It just goes back and forth between tight and loose. They continue to adjust. It continues to go back and forth, Dave.
Scott Wimmer having kind of a tough rookie day. They got down a lap early in this race just because they lost track position for so long. Then they got the lucky dog pass the last time. This time they took 4 tires during the stop, but couldn't put fuel in. They still haven't found out why NASCAR wouldn't let them put fuel in, Bill.
Jeff Gordon was not involved in that crash on the restart in the 24 car, but under the last 2 caution periods, they have made numerous pit stops and changes on this car. From the driver to the crew, we are in worse trouble now than than we were. I don't know what to tell you guys. Signed, Jeff Gordon.
So it's fair to say that Gordon's effort to win a third straight win, is in a lot of trouble. Figure this, guys. There have been 11 different drivers lead today. We've run 166 laps. Tony Stewart has led 119. That doesn't leave a whole lot for anybody else.
No, it doesn't. And
now Tony's getting up with these other cars, Benny. So we'll see if this slows him down or if he struggles a little bit where Jimmy Johnson can make some ground up, because his car doesn't handle as well around other cars.
He comes around Jeff Green.
He got pointed by Jeff.
But now he's going to run up on Jeff Gordon, the 24 car, who wants to stay on the lead lap. Let's see how much trouble he has getting by Jeff.
The only problem is on the Jeff deal, he may be so loose he may just let Tony go.
That's true.
He's in the championship. It's better than crashing his car trying to race him. All right. Second place, Sterling Marlin has caught Jimmy Johnson.
And look at this Sterling Marlin run on the bottom of the racetrack. Looks like Tony Stewart. What's up with the 48, Matt?
48 can't hold him off as the car is starting to get a little snug. They're expecting to pit around lap 185, BP.
We've got a little time before those pit stops. We'll come back, see if Tony Stewart laps Jeff Gordon. May not have to wait even that long. Watching the caution flag fly over the Tropicana 400. It is waved because a piece of metal has come off just at the exit of turn 4 by the double lines that they use to mark the restart point on the racetrack. And so the yellow flag flying today for a 6th time in this race. Jeff Gordon was overtaken by Tony Stewart, but the caution comes out quickly, and so
he's the dog, the lucky dog.
He's barking.
He becomes a lucky dog, and I've heard him say that he doesn't believe in a lucky dog.
He will today.
He might believe in it today.
I guess he doesn't have to take it, does he?
No, he doesn't have to. He can refuse it.
You have to take it.
Here's where Gordon got passed by Tony Stewart.
Jeff held him off for a long time, a lot longer than I thought he was.
As the leaders come in, what will be at lap 174, and we go to Marty.
Elliott Sadler on the back end of the road, back into pit road. Currently running 4th car, slides the nose just a little bit in 1 and 2. He said, I don't know what to do to keep up with these guys. Car's just about perfect. Half around up on the track bar, trying to loosen them up just a little bit. Dave?
On the bottom of your screen, Rusty Wallace's car a little bit tight. Track bar adjustment in the right rear, also pressure into the right rear tire. Matt?
Tony Stewart now just a smidgen on the tight side. They're going to back up an air pressure adjustment they made on the previous stop, Bill.
Sterling Marlin gets 4 tires, gets a tear off removed from the front windshield, waiting for the lefts to tighten up. The car is good, no chassis adjustment. The race is on.
Oh, he almost did it, but I think he got out right behind Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, I'll say 20-48 there, Johnson and Tony Stewart.
Well, that's what I just said.
All right, here we go. It's Tony Stewart comes off pit road first. Now the question is, where does Sterling Marlin fit in this deal?
Ooh.
Oh, how do you judge that? I guess he's 4th.
Yep, Elliott got him.
And Jeremy Mayfield. Everybody on the lead lap that pitted there, 4 tires on the stops. 93 laps to go. That's going to set up if we were to go green from here to the finish. A very brief visit to pit road for some fuel in the late laps. And maybe 2 tires. That's still to come. Tony Stewart holds the lead through the pit stops, and we're under caution at Chicagoland Speedway. Racing next weekend, but in 2 weeks on TNT. We have a triple header of coverage for you. Bud Pole qualifying from New Hampshire on Friday, July 23rd, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday the 24th, 1 Eastern. It's NASCAR Busch Series Racing presented by Midas. And on Sunday, July 25th on TNT, NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from New Hampshire, 1:30 Eastern. Coverage, of course, beginning with Discover Card Countdown to Green.
Get a week off. We need it.
Yeah, I know you've been working so hard lately. We didn't want to overwork you here. Wanted to let you get back in the flow. Slowly. 90 laps to go on the restart. And 21 cars on the lead lap. Tony Stewart, the race leader, followed by Jimmy Johnson, Elliott Sadler, Sterling Marlin, and Jeremy Mayfield. Casey Mears in the 41 is the first car a lap down in 22nd place.
Tell you what, every restart so far today, somebody has had a problem. It looked like 88 had a problem that time on the restart.
Yeah, Jarrett restarted in 9th place.
As we watch this battle, cars going in turn 3. Jimmy Spencer was not able to get up to speed quickly in the 4 car.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy Johnson's got his best shot. He's right there behind Tony Stewart. Can he do anything with him?
Take the whoa. Boy, that that car looked like got a little bit loose in there. Jimmy Johnson, that 48 car. Now your two of them, you got to figure out how to get around them. That's the really tough part. Tony Stewart's been working that bottom lane, so Jimmy's going to have to look at the high side to try to make a pass.
And I tell you what, when you do that, when you move up the racetrack just a few feet, it makes that racetrack so much larger and turns the engine maybe a couple of hundred RPMs more than you're turning it. And sometimes these things will not run 400 or 500 miles.
Jimmy Johnson, even if he finishes second to Tony Stewart today, going to gain some ground in the Nextel Cup Championship standings. Remember, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was involved in a wreck a little earlier, and Junior's running 22nd, a lap down.
You know, another problem with that, BP, is your engine will peak out sooner because you're running more RPMs on the high side. So your engine will fall off quicker when you get down the straightaway. They make power up to a certain point, then they go flat.
This is as close as anybody's been to Stewart for a while. Johnson looking outside.
Here we go. Now he's looking inside.
Crossover.
He's got a fender.
He's there.
Still outside.
Outside someplace. Tony Stewart in the 20 car has not been today.
Great job,
Jimmy Johnson.
Are the man. Do it.
New leader.
And I think Tony gave him a little bit of a break there.
Why?
Well, because it was close coming off of that turn 4. And I think if Tony could have stayed in the throttle, he would have gotten that 48 loose. I don't think he wants any more of that today. I think he was pretty nice about that move, because the 48 was sliding right up in front of the 20 car.
Could have also taken his fenders off, too. If he stuck to the outside of Jimmy and Jimmy didn't know he was there.
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson gapping Tony Stewart by about a half a second. I talked with Chad Canales, Jimmy Johnson's crew chief, this morning. They spent a lot of their time in yesterday's final practice scuffing tires, putting a brand new set of tires on the car, going out, running a lap with it, then coming back in. And I asked Chad the purpose of that. He said because there have been some minor inconsistencies between the sets of tires, they want to know what they've got on the car when it comes down to this part of the race.
That's right. You go out and you run 2 or 3 laps on a set of tires. If you don't like a set of tires, if there's a set of tires that are scary, you're going to know it in those first 3 or 4 laps. So it's exactly what they were doing.
About for 4th position between Sterling Marlin and the silver 40 and 19 Jeremy Mayfield. Mayfield has the measure on him now.
And makes the pass. Terry Labonte joining the fray there in 6th position, Bill.
And if you think Jeff Gordon was the lucky dog on the last caution, Terry Labonte was probably the lucky dog. This is the right front tire off of Terry's car after just 53 laps. You can see right here, Wally and Benny, all this rubber is gone. Terry couldn't feel it. The car was just starting to get a little tight. This was a scuffed tire when they put it on. A lot of talk about that here, as Alan was alluding to. So that's something we'll have to watch for in the closing laps of this race. Tire wear, a problem yesterday, and a question perhaps down the stretch here at Chicago. Sometimes the track can cause that. Sometimes the setup can cause that. Sometimes the tire. Sometimes a combination of all three.
But Bill, what did they do to fix that?
They took it off.
What did they do to fix it for the next one?
They made a chassis adjustment there, a wedge and air pressure adjustment. I'll double check with Jim Long to find out.
Yeah, I was going to say the air pressure adjustment is what's going to do it. The reason that's happening, in my opinion, is that they're starting the tires down too low on air pressure. What that does is that builds the heat up too fast. When you do that with these tires, they separate, and that's a lot of it. Another problem, BP, is a control arm issue, but I don't think that's the issue here. I think it's pressure issue here.
When I talked to the Goodyear engineers this morning, that's what they felt like the problem was a tire pressure situation where the teams, in trying to make their car handle, had dropped the pressure down too low.
Right. How about Terry Labonte by Sterling Marlin into the top 5. He's chasing his Hendrick Motorsports teammate Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series championship leader. Tony Stewart has dominated the day, but as we get into the final 78 laps, it's Jimmy Johnson who's the man out in front in pursuit of his 4th victory of the 2004 season. 930 acres, 75,000 seats. The massive 1.5 mile Chicagoland Speedway filled to capacity today for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series 18th race of 2004. Tony Stewart has dominated the race so far, but the fans here right now seeing Jimmy Johnson lead into the final miles as we close in on the 300-mile mark. Our lows improvers and snoozers, guys who've improved the most from their starting position to where they run now.
Sterling Marlin not doing too bad. He's picked up 26 spots. Michael Walter 24, and DJ started 29th, is currently running 7th. Great move on his part.
And that's after an unscheduled pit stop and went back down a lap and got back a lap.
But I guess we've got another graphic that says...
We got some snoozers?
Oh, no.
Well, Casey Kane, yeah, that was a tough deal. Yeah, he crashed.
So
Ryan Newman crashed. And Jeff Burton crashed. So.
Yep. That's the not good side.
And Alan Bestwick should be on there somewhere.
Crashed. That'll be tonight.
Boy, that car is so good. I mean, Chad and these guys have done such a terrific job with this 48 car.
Man. All right, let's take you back through the top 10. Get updates from pit road. A mini through the field. Bill, start us off. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
In the battle of the home improvement cars, currently the blue and silver colors of Jimmy Johnson out front. They fixed the fender on their last stop, almost beat the 20 car off pit road. He now says the car is not stuck. It's just a tick on the free side, but good. Tony Stewart hasn't said a whole lot on the radio, just the fact that back on lap 196, he says it's a little bit too free on entry right now. They still have one more stop, Marty.
Elliott Sadler trying to run those front two guys down. Matt, he's in third, a little bit behind there, has not said a word since the last pit stop. This is an in-house Gates chassis. He told Todd Parrott, I want 5 more just like this. He loves this race car, same one that won at Texas. Behind him, Jeremy Mayfield. He said before this last pit stop, the car's just not in the track like I would like. Handles fine, just not in the track. They made a wedge adjustment trying to help him out, trying to catch those front guys, Bill.
Terry Labonte in the 5 car, his best finish so far this season, 7th, 3 times. Remember, we showed you that right front tire. They did not make any adjustments to the car. The adjustments we talked about were made earlier. No adjustments. They're hoping that was just a one-tire situation, that it won't come back and bite them. Sterling Marlin in the 40 car has been quiet all day, except on this set of tires, which, to put it mildly, he does not like. Chasing the 5, but he's not by him yet. Dave?
Mark Martin, after his troubles on pit road, still has a very fast race car. Actually lost a position on the restart back to 11th and has now passed 4 cars, and he's running down Terry Labonte. Marty?
The 88 is in 8th, Dave, and they've come from the back to the front, to the back to the front. This last stop, 4 tires, no changes for DJ. The car feels very good. 15th in points, but remember, only 66 points out of 11th, Dave.
Brian Vickers started the day on the outside of row 2. Remember, damage sent him back in the pack. He's worked his way back up. They put the best set of scuffs, according to them, on the car. No chassis changes last time down pit road. Matt?
Rounding out the top 10, and 10th is Jimmy McMurray in the 42 car. What a rebound. Remember, earlier in the race, he had to pit unscheduled to remove that debris out of the grill. Battled back, trying to solidify a nice finish today. They made an air pressure adjustment on his last stop. They're going to add that back on his next stop because the car is now really tight.
McMurray had a windshield tear off from another car just after the first set of pit stops. Get across what is a very small grill opening on these Nextel Cup cars, and engine temperature was shooting up. He had to come in and get it fixed. Nice rally.
As our pit reporters were taking us through the field of the top 10, I was looking at the score and monitor. And I tell you what, if Mark Martin in that 6 car can get some track position, yes, he can race with these guys.
Yeah, he's fast, and he's looking for that clean air. I mean, his car, when he was separated from these cars, he ran them down really, really fast. Now that he's gotten to them, he's still faster, but he's about 2/10 slower than when he was by himself.
We just passed Terry Labonte and left him for 6th. Now he's working on Sterling Marlin for 5th. He's going to get him right here, Dave.
And Alan, he is trying so hard. After they had trouble on pit road, he came across the radio to his guys and said, on the second time, which was actually Mark's fault, he said, guys, I know that last one was my fault, but help me. Let's get our stuff together. We've still got a great race car. We can still do this. Let's work together. Weber?
Dave, Terry Labonte starting to go the wrong way here at Chicagoland, and while you have to wonder, we saw that right front tire after 53 laps, you'd start wondering if he's got a tire issue and the handling of that car starting to fade.
I'm telling you what, Bill, I'd be surprised if he didn't. If they did not make an air pressure change, I'd be real curious to see what that right front tire looks like when he comes in, because you are right. He's been dropping back. He's lost 4 positions here in about the last 5 or 6 laps.
And the one reason they didn't make a change because they were happy with how the car was handling, and they didn't know that tire problem existed until they already had it off the car.
Ah, that's a good reason. That's a real good reason. And if you can get away with running that pressure low in that tire, it's going to turn better. But that's the trade-off. You're really pushing the envelope on having troubles with the tire by running the pressures that low.
So you see Dale Jarrett by Terry Labonte to pick up 7th spot, and the two-time champ is back to 8th. 62 laps to go here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Jimmy Johnson out in front of Tony Stewart by 1.5 seconds. Johnson trying to close in on that #1 spot for the chase for the Nextel Cup. Tony Stewart's dominated today, but Jimmy Johnson of El Cajon, California is the leader in the late lap. Back at Chicagoland Speedway, caution is on the track. Mike Bliss has just crashed off turn 2.
All right, now we're in a situation that all these cars can make it to the end of the day. So pit crews, get your A game.
Mike Bliss running in 26th position. A couple of laps down to the race leader at the time of his accident. The NASCAR Busch Series competitor for Joe Gibbs Racing, who started today in 7th position. But he has hit the safer barriers a good pop over in the second corner.
Take a look here, BP.
Coming off turn 2.
The last part of it there.
Didn't look like anybody was around him to make contact. Just a simple losing control off the corner.
Did get the safer barrier, though.
Much welcome.
Much welcome. He thanks you.
I talked to a guy the other day that told me that these safer barriers will reduce the impact about 40% on average.
I can believe that because I've hit enough without them. That hurts.
I know it does.
And you see Mike out of the car, so good news for his friends and family, and Mike Bliss okay, but the caution is out in this race.
I think we're going to see any 2-tire stops right here.
I don't think so.
Everybody's going to take 4. Casey Mears is a lucky dog, and he's been a very fast car all day long, so this is a big break for him.
Yeah, we got 58, it'll be 57 laps to go when they stop. That's almost a full fuel run, so you're going to need the 4 tires.
Yep.
Because you're gonna have to wait on the gasoline anyway.
Right. And here's where the pit crews earn their money.
What were those 2 words we talked about earlier today? Track position.
Yes.
If Tony Stewart's crew can get him out quicker than Jimmy Johnson's crew.
This is
or if Mark Martin's crew can get him out.
Yeah.
I tell you what, he is very fast in that 6 car.
Here they come. Critical final pit stops. Marty Snyder starts us off.
Or the M&M's gang might win this race off pit road. They're nicknamed Chocolate Thunder by themselves. Their last 2 stops, 13-2, 12-9. Half round out of the left rear. Elliott's just a little bit tight. Todd Parrott said we need 4 tires to go to the end. Dave?
Redemption time for the 6 crew. Air pressure adjustments in 3 of the 4 tires for Mark. The car is just a little bit tight. They coming around to the left side, trying to get out pit road first. Matt?
The top of your screen, Jimmy Johnson, the leader. An air pressure adjustment in the right rear. They're going to take a half a pound back out of the inner line. It's going to be a battle out between the 20 and Stewart and the Home Depot car, the Lowe's car. Looks like the 20 got him.
And right now, the 40 and the 19 are out in front, Bill.
Yeah, the 40 took 2 right side tires and fuel, and I'll tell you, they better make sure that fuel thing got full, but they gambled on 2. We'll see how it happens. Sterling was a little loose getting in the 1, but he said it's not too bad. We'll see what happens.
And they're not the only ones that took just 2 tires, Bill. Jeremy Mayfield got 2, and Joe Nemechek in the 0-1. Right side tires only. How about 25, Dave?
No changes on the chassis, Alan. They did take on 4 scuffed tires and filled it full of fuel. Brian very happy with the car.
He got off pit road very well, too.
Man, that's a long time on left side tires, BP.
How about the 19, Marty?
Yeah, and Jeremy Mayfield said the only adjustment I want is a little track position. They've had a great car all day long. They've tried it before. It worked before. 2 tires for the 19 bunch.
I agree with your statement before, Wally. The question is, did they get it full of fuel?
Yeah.
They weren't there very long.
No, I bet not.
We'll find out. 57 to go here at Chicagoland Speedway, the Tropicana 400. You're watching
Speedway, Joliet, Illinois for the Nextel Cup Series, running under the NASCAR banner. Teams coming around to get the green flag this time by, beginning to double up. These teams have next week off. For some of them, that's not going to matter. For example, the 24 team of Jeff Gordon came in here. They won their 4th consecutive pole on Friday. They were chasing their 3rd consecutive win after victories at Sonoma and last week at Daytona. But it's been a dismal day for the 24 bunch. They're not going to win. They're not going to make up any ground in the points. And they're going to hopefully pick up ground when this series resumes in 2 weeks at Loudon. They have waved off the green flag here at Chicagoland Speedway, so they will take at least 1 more lap under caution before we go back to green. And that gives us an opportunity to take you inside the field. Throughout the race, several times we take you inside through the field to let you know how the top 20, top 25 are running. But let's take you inside the field. For example, there's Ricky Rudd. His best finish this year, 11th at Richmond, still looking for his first top 10. Under that throwback paint scheme is the blue of a Mark Martin car. They were hopeful that coming in here that they would find some aerodynamic things that would help Ricky run better, but it hasn't worked out for him today. Be another disappointing finish. Ricky wanted to make it clear at age 47, he has not surrendered, and if you heard his voice and looked into his eyes, you can still hear and feel his passion for racing. Dave?
Bill, Ken Schrader is struggling today, running 4 laps down. But you know that he is more feared than Barry Bonds in a charity softball game on Thursday evening here in town. He had the bases loaded before him, and they would not pitch to him. Threw him 4 straight balls, walked in a run, and Kenny went to first. Matt?
It was a good day and a bad day for Kyle Petty. The phone call father wants to hear Thursday morning. He was told son Austin was injured in a motorcycle accident. Not of his doing, but he will pay the price. Both ankles broken, pins in both ankles. The good news, he will be okay. The news got even better. They raised $50,000 Thursday night in the softball game for the Victory Junction Gang Camp, a camp for diseased children in the memory of Adam Petty, who we lost back in 2000. His birthday, yesterday, he would have been 24. Marty?
Matt, all these teams on pit road work very hard, but Brendan's Gone team, many of them moved from Las Vegas to Charlotte, North Carolina. They've got no more than 1 day off a week. Shane Wilson told the team this week, you'll have 4 days off after we test Indy. The man who pushed for it, Brendan Gone, said give the guys a break. We go back to green in Chicago.
And we do so with 53 laps to go in this race.
And the 40 car, once again, vapor lock. You know, it cost him the Brickyard 400 a few years ago. Same thing again. The fuel gets so hot that it boils, gets an airlock in there.
We've seen that a lot today, DP. A lot of different guys have had that problem.
So Sterling Marlin, who was the race leader, is shuffled back. Now it is Jeremy Mayfield who leads, with Tony Stewart second and Jimmy Johnson third. Oh, and by the way, that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in front of the leaders. Tail end of the lead lap if he can catch a caution. He might be able to make something out of this day yet.
Let's watch this restart here. Watch Sterling. Go. Did you see that puff of smoke? Was it a vapor lock or a missed shift?
Could have been a missed shift.
That may have been a missed shift. Yeah.
Hey, Benny,
Yeah.
you're right.
Missed shift?
Yes, sir.
Ah.
Oops.
Oops. Here
So
I was thinking it was mechanical, but it's like Sterling.
That'll drop him to 4th place and put a bit of gap between he and these front 3. Remember, Jeremy Mayfield just with 2 tires on his pit stop. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson with 4 fresh good years.
I want 4. I don't think 2 is going to be able to hold them off.
Jeremy Mayfield winless so far this season. He does have a couple of second-place finishes. Owensboro, Kentucky native has taken 2 tires on a few different types today, Marty, for track position.
Yeah, and Kenny Francis just came on the radio and said, remember how good the car was earlier when we took 2 tires. And also, I want to reiterate to you, we are not conserving fuel. You go for everything you need out there on the track.
Okay, so they got it full. So Mayfield leading Tony Stewart by just a couple of car lengths. Under the green with 50 to go. Talked earlier about the green flag finish, the green-white checker that is potentially coming to NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing.
We knew the answer.
I knew the answer to that.
Hey, but looky here. You got 24% over here. That's a bigger number than I thought.
It is, too. I thought that number 66% would be about 86%.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, that was close up there in turn 2.
Brian Vickers.
And with half the season remaining, do you want to see the rule change for a green-white checker finish?
Do I want to see it as a booth boy or as a driver?
Both.
Don't want to see it as a driver.
As a booth boy.
Love it. Can't wait. That's right. It's totally different because, you know, as a driver, you're getting set up for those last 3 laps, that green-white checker, for disaster. And I don't want to see that. But, man, as a fan, the fans are going to love it. So there's 2 different opinions.
I know you're all for it, BP.
I was not for it, but again, I'm on the fan side. They go through enough to be here and pay their money to watch this race, watch it home on TV for 3 or 4 hours. They deserve to see a green flag finish.
Details forthcoming soon from NASCAR, according to President Mike Helton, who talked with us about it on Thursday. Now, we heard. We'll get back to the cause of Wally's ooh there in a minute. First, Mark Martin. We've been talking about him having a good day today. He just took sixth place rather away from Joe Nemechek. Listen here.
Ooh, this motor's big.
Now, that you don't hear often from any driver, let alone Mark. But I'll tell you what, when you've got a good handling car, you think you got 200 horsepower more than anybody else.
Here we go for the lead. Putting Dale Jr. a lap down. Tony Stewart right under the back bumper of Jeremy Mayfield. They've shaken Jimmy Johnson for a second.
This is just a matter of time, I think, Alan. I really think the 20 car is just, all he's got to do is be patient here. The 19 car with just 2 tires is not going to have the grip that Tony Stewart's going to have in another 10 or 15 laps. What do you think, Matt?
Well, he just needs a little bit of time to showcase what that 20 car will do. It takes a little while for the car to come in. It starts out a little free on the get-go. They made a slight air pressure adjustment to speed up that process for this final run. Dave.
Matt, on the radio yesterday during practice, Mark Martin was heard to utter that same sound, that woo, and that was when he passed a car he hadn't been able to pass here before. It was a 12 car Brian Newman and last year's winner, and that's when he knew he had a really good piece for this weekend.
All right, so Mark running in 6th place with big motor. And here's the cause for Wally's ooh a minute ago. Watch Brian Vickers, the yellow stripes with the tape flapping top of the screen.
Actually, Rusty Wallace got loose and darn near ran into the 25 car Brian Vickers.
It's almost like Brian Vickers was seeing out the back of his head because somehow he realized that he needed to give Rusty some room. If he had not given him room, there would have been a crash. I'm telling you, Mark Martin is making the most of it as he goes by Sterling Marlin into the 4th position. He might be a little bit too far behind these guys, these leaders, Jeremy Mayfield, Tony Stewart, to catch him. A caution flag would put him where he needs to be.
Or if Tony Stewart and Jeremy start racing each other, if Mark can get some fresh air and have nobody around to race with, I think he may be able to run him down.
Well, he's got that now. He's got the clean air. He's going to pass the lap car at Dale Earnhardt Jr. here in a second, and then there's no one between himself and Jimmy Johnson. Problem is, he's about 2.5 seconds behind Jimmy Johnson. So he's got a lot of ground to make up to try and catch that 3rd place car. I'll tell you what's surprising me is that Jeremy Mayfield has put a gap on Tony Stewart for the race lead. Tony has eaten into that gap a very little bit here lately, but not an awful lot.
Did you not pay attention to what Wally and I said, Alan? Did we talk about track position? Getting out in front is so important.
And I think also, like Matt was saying earlier, the 20 car is loose, and I thought, well, let's take I watched him a few laps, and when he was back off the 19 car, he was loose. So I think maybe once he gets some time on these tires and the pressure built up, he'll make a run for the 19 and pass him.
I did listen to what you said, BP, about track position, but I also listened to Wally say, give me 4.
I'm still sticking with that.
Okay. How about Jeremy Mayfield, Marty?
Well, Alan, in Countdown to Green, Jeremy talked a lot about how hard it is to win in the Nextel Cup Series. As you just saw on the graphic a moment ago, it's been 4 years and 3 weeks since Jeremy Mayfield won a Nextel Cup race. The decision to take 2 tires has put them in the lead with 32 to go. And I've got to disagree with you, Wally. I'd rather have that clean air. That car is going to be awfully wide. If you hadn't won in 4 years, can you imagine how wide you can make that race car?
Oh, there's no
Tony Stewart behind you.
Yeah, there's no question, Marty. The problem is, if that 19 car gets in traffic before this race is over, that clean air is gone. That's going to hurt him.
Here's another twist on the Jeremy Mayfield story. He was one of the guys just outside the top 10 in the championship standings coming into today. He was 12th, and he was 147 points from 10th. With Ryan Newman running into troubles earlier today, Kevin Harvick's had an up-and-down day. Jeremy Mayfield's closing in on competing for that top 10 cutoff at Richmond in September. Big day for him.
And Mark Martin as well. You see, Mark is only about 80 points out of 10th spot.
Dale Jarrett closing some ground today. He's running 9th right now. Not with us earlier. Ryan Newman involved in a wreck with Kurt Busch back in the opening laps of this race. Casey Kane in an accident, bumped from behind by Tony Stewart while leading. Another one of those drivers very close to trying to make that chase for the Nextel Cup Championship.
All right, we'll see. We'll see who's fast this time.
Okay. Check our AOL top speeds at the line. See whether Tony Stewart's making any headway on Jeremy Mayfield, and if Mark Martin's making any headway on the both of them.
It looks to me like Tony made a little bit on that lap, but we've got a slower car here. But let's take a look.
Tony Stewart was quickest. Jimmy Johnson was quick. Look at this, 175.
Wow.
Told you Mark is fast.
That's about 0.3 of a second quicker than the leader.
Like I said, now Tony gets to that 19 car of Jeremy Mayfield. They start racing. They're going to slow down 0.3 of a second a lap.
If that happens, Mark Martin can catch these guys. He can win this race.
Well, I know you guys don't think a whole lot of my math skills, but Mark was 0.3 of a second faster. He's almost 5 seconds back, and he's only got 28 laps.
Don't give yourself credit. We don't think much of any of your skills.
Oh, okay.
Not just the math.
Well, it took him about 27 laps to do it, but Tony Stewart has finally worked his way around Jeremy Mayfield and reclaimed the lead in this race.
So here's the pass. He goes up on the high side where those 4 tires were sticking better than the 2 tires of Jeremy Mayfield. Hey, Marty.
Hang on there, Wally.
We got a yellow.
Caution flag is out. Debris in turn 4.
Oh, now what do you do with 22 laps to go?
There it is, hunk of metal.
We saw this exact same thing happen yesterday. Cars stopped. Some cars stopped, changed tires, some 2 tires, some 4 tires. Some cars stayed on the racetrack, and it looked like the cars that stayed on the track were better off.
I'm not coming in.
You're not coming in?
No,
okay.
not with 22 laps to go.
And by the way, I mentioned this before, but first car not on the lead lap, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
is a lucky dog again.
He's a barking. He will get the free pass and come back around and rejoin the chase for a good position. He'll come in and get 4 tires.
Guarantee he's going to buy 4 new Goodyears.
And with 22, now make it 23 cars on the lead lap with Junior, although we'll set him out because he has to start 23rd by the rules. 22 cars on the lead lap. If I'm the guys from 10th on back, I'm getting 4 tires.
Absolutely. But if you're in the top 3 or 4 cars, don't forget these guys are going to have to start double file. If I'm going to be in the top 3 or 4, if I'm Mark Martin, I'm not coming in.
No, I don't think Mark Martin's going to come in.
And he's in 4th right now.
All right, here we go. Track is the pit road is open. All right, who's the first car?
Joe Nemechek.
Joe Nemechek.
Which is an 8th
place.
DJ, Rusty, Biffle.
They'll all, well,
a couple guys in the back stayed out.
I'm surprised Robbie Gordon stayed out.
Go ahead, Marty.
Well, Dale Jarrett felt like this was the only way they could really gain some track position. Kind of mired back there in 10th. A little bit tight for DJ, half a round up on the track or the wedge bolt, and 2 tires only.
Dale Jarrett gets 2. And Joe Nemechek. All right, we are under the caution. We'll reset it for you when we come back. See how this finish shakes out. Tony Stewart out in front, coming up on 20 laps to go here in Chicagoland. Let's hear from some crew chiefs before we go back racing for this final sprint to the finish. Matt, you're up.
Zippy, not a lot of debate on the radio whether to stay out for track position or pit.
Yeah, it's tough. It seems like our car, we finally got a little bit free that last segment. We put that set of tires, put a half pound back in the right front. It's pretty good right now, but track position's worth so much. You know, these guys have done a great job all weekend. We've kind of been set behind early in the week, but good, strong team, and Tony's doing a great job.
When you look at this team's history, they have a 3rd and a 2nd here. They need to pay it off and get a win. Marty?
Matt, Kenny Francis, crew chief and cheerleader for the 19 team, and kind of trying to encourage Jeremy on what happened when Tony passed him, and is the restart the best place for him to pass him back?
We've been, Jeremy said he got a little bit tight there off 2. We felt like that was where Tony was beating him. So, we're going to try to give it our best shot. I know he's going to do everything he can. Jeremy's done a real great job all day. Our Dodge has run good all day. Duke Crew's done a great job in the pits, and just want to thank all the Dodge dealers out there, and maybe we can give them something to be proud of here.
Dave?
Petrison, Mark has finally caught him. Can he get him?
I hope so. I mean, we've been pretty good here. The Viger Ford Tour's been awesome all day. A little miscue on pit road and stuff, and but he's done an awesome job, and hopefully we can go run him down and get him. We were faster that last run, so hopefully we can get him in the last 20.
Bill?
Robbie Loomis, high hopes today. What happened?
We just, we had a problem on the left rear. Looks like left rear jack screw backed off the thing. We finally caught it on the one pit stop.
got it adjusted. The car just lost all its wedge, got extremely loose. We did a lot of things to tighten it up. Once we got the wedge back in, it was way too tight. Now we got 4 new tires, 18 laps to go. It's going to be real exciting.
Alan. Real exciting is right. Jeff Gordon restarting 16th.
I had that happen to me at Dover.
Jack threw back.
Yeah, he had that happen.
And Tony Stewart, what Zippy was talking. Green is right. What Zippy was talking about. This is the backup car that Tony Stewart is driving. Friday morning, in one of the first practice sessions, he crashed the Home Depot car and had to go to a backup car.
Here comes Jimmy Johnson outside of Mayfield for second. And he's got him.
Yes, sir.
And Mark is having trouble getting off the mark. Matt.
BP under that caution. Jimmy told Chad Knaus, the car finally started coming back to me. I just lost too much track position at the start of that run. He's got one more shot at the 20.
Not the last segment of the race, but the one before that. Jimmy Johnson got around Tony Stewart and led him for a while. Remember, Stewart passed Johnson back on a pit stop. So we'll see if Jimmy can get up there and do anything with Tony in these final few laps. 17 to go. The guys that took tires on the pit stop, Joe Nemechek and Dale Jarrett, were the first off pit road. They only got right side tires, and they restarted 11th on back.
And here the cars are coming that changed 4 tires. That's tight. Was a car that did not stop, did not change tires, and Jeff Gordon was able to get by. 15 able to get by.
Looked like he had something coming off the left rear of that car.
Fender rope, maybe?
Maybe there was some contact there in that restart.
Well, they were only about 3 wide going down the backstretch. The 3 wide now.
Let's take a look to see if there was some contact, because I saw some smoke come off the left rear of the Robbie Gordon 31 car.
Robbie restarted in 10th position.
Watch right there. You got him right behind Jamie McMurray. Looks like he...
Oh,
there it is. Yeah, it's actually the right front.
Left front there.
Or left front.
On Robbie's car, yeah.
Oh, and there's the left rear. Okay, so we got the left front and the left rear.
Trade and paint at 180.
Yep.
No problem. Look at this. Oh, Robbie Gordon into the back of Jeff Green, and around Jeff goes.
Wow.
Caution is out. At 14 laps to go.
Look out. That was close.
Boy.
I'd like to see what started all that.
Well, we've got an idea. They were bouncing off each other like they were on a quarter-mile Saturday night.
Now, the 43 had to do something with 31. Let's take a look. Okay, there. Wow. Well, that's the end result.
Jeff Green was not on the lead lap.
He was not on the lead lap. Robbie Gordon was racing with several other cars for position, and once again, maybe he became impatient.
Yeah, he's racing with the 16, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And then he gets in behind a car that's a lap down. I think you're right, BP. A little bit of, hey, get out of my way.
Pit road is open. See if we have any takers this time. Jeff Green into the wall in turn 3, bringing out the caution flag for the 9th time in this race.
Here comes the 25 car down pit road. Robbie Gordon has decided now he will pit.
Dave?
Yeah, Brian Vickers had contact on that racing you were showing out there, guys. Pretty exciting stuff, but not for Brian. Thought he might have a left front tire down, so he said, let's come in, put on 4, get back up with the lead lap group, and hopefully race this thing to the end.
Very few takers on the pit stops. Guys who got tires, best progress during that shuffle of racing, Dale Jarrett up to 6th. So I don't know if there'll be enough laps left for Brian Vickers and McMurray and Gordon here to really make any progress.
Probably not, but...
And when this thing restarts, there's only going to be about 10 laps to go, so I don't know that. But something has changed. It has been a bright sunshine day. The clouds have now covered the sun. It's overcast. That's going to change the cars dramatically. How it's going to change these front cars, we don't know.
I don't know if it's going to change the 20. I think the 20's still in really good shape, but may help Mark a lot.
Into the closing laps here at Chicagoland. Let's show you how we got here. Casey Kane in the 9, passing Jeff Gordon for the lead in the opening laps. A couple of laps later, caution was out for the first time in the race.
See, the 12 car, Ryan Newman, loses the left rear tire, spins the car right up in front of Kurt Busch both those cars in the wall.
A couple guys in the top 10 in the next No Cup Championship standings who wound up damaged and spent a lot of time in the garage getting repairs. Here's the big controversy of the day. Casey Kane leading on a restart. Tony Stewart, contact from behind.
Like a Talladega or Daytona crash.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. swept up into the accident, second place man in the championship, and this was the scene on pit road.
This is not a dancing contest.
As one crew chief went to visit another, and the discussion went on from there. Tony Stewart has dominated today. He's led 147 of the 255 laps we've run. This was the one segment of the race where somebody but Tony Stewart had the strongest car.
Jimmie Johnson comes off turn 2, goes by Tony Stewart, but then the caution flag came out later on. They made a pit stop, and he's just not been able to get that car back up to speed.
Teams have tried to get 2 tires and no tires to get in front of Stewart.
Yep, Sterling Marlin missed a shift and, boy, lost 3-4 positions on that one.
See Jeremy Mayfield in front of Tony Stewart. His crew giving him 2 tires on the last pit stop that they made, but after following him around for about 27 laps, Stewart finally able to get the good out of his 4 fresh tires and overtake Jeremy Mayfield for the top spot. That's how we've gotten to where we are, and now we're coming to the green flag for a restart that'll be with 11 laps to go.
Okay, now this is where it's real important for Tony Stewart to get the best restart of the day, and for everybody else that matter. You know, I mean, you've got to be right on the guy's bumper on the restart because this is it.
Not pictured in our race recap much, Jeff Gordon, the driver who started on pole today, looking to win a 3rd straight race. He has struggled all day long. A jacking screw backing out of the suspension of his car. The crew has finally fixed it, and Gordon is up to 10th place.
And the important thing for Jimmie Johnson, Jeremy Mayfield, Mark Martin on this restart is to get by Kyle Petty.
Kyle will probably just go very slow down into turn 1 to give these leaders all an equal opportunity to get by.
Kind of looks like it, huh? So here we go.
Everybody's clear so far except for Mark.
11 laps to go.
Mark is clear. Well, that was pretty nice of Kyle.
Tony Stewart, Jimmie Johnson, Jeremy Mayfield, Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin, the top 5. Dale Jarrett with 2 fresh tires on his last pit stop. And then Jeff Gordon with 4 fresh tires on his pit stop, trying to make way through the traffic.
Elliott Sadler, 38 car, looked like he had a problem on the restart.
He was very slow down the backstretch, lost several positions. He goes from 8th all the way back to 12th. Here goes Mark Martin trying to get on the inside of Jeremy Mayfield. He does it. Battle for 3rd.
And through. Mark Martin has rallied back. They had a problem on a pit stop. He had to take to the grass during a caution flag and make an extra pit stop. Yet he's up to 3rd, trying to close on the leaders. Terry Labonte trying to get under Sterling Marlin and grab a spot.
Look at Jeff Gordon. 8th spot right now.
He's going to get done with this day and think of what might have been.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. That jacking ball comes undone. Let me tell you something. Those cars are wicked to drive.
Working on Terry Labonte for 6th place is Jeff.
He's trying.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's been a very solid day for that 5 car. You know, Terry started 24th. His crew chief Jim Long told me this morning they weren't all that thrilled with their car. They made some changes. They've played the strategy game correctly. They've gotten in track position. They stayed out one time when a lot of other people pitted. There are those 2 words again we've used all day.
He's got some inspiration from his son yesterday.
Yeah. Not familiar, Terry's 23-year-old son, Justin, with his first NASCAR Busch Series win here at Chicagoland yesterday. We showed it to you live on NBC. 7 laps to go. Jeff Gordon through to 6th place. Dale Jarrett's next in front of him. Out in front, Jimmie Johnson can't handle Tony Stewart. He's pulling away in the 20 car.
Now, it looks like Tony's got it where he wants it. Mark is picking up a little bit on the 48 car, but he's got to, once he catches him, he's got to figure a way to pass him, and we've only got 6 to go when we come back across the line.
Mark Martin on lap 259 ran his fastest lap of the day.
He's about 0.2 of a second faster than Jimmie Johnson.
But
he may
catch
catch
for second now.
Yes.
Not enough laps left. You'll agree with my math on that.
I will agree with you on that.
Okay. Mayfield and Jarrett, 4th and 5th. Going to be a good day in the championship standings for Dale Jarrett. Those drivers on the outside looking in for now in that 10-driver chase for the Nextel Cup. And up to Tony Stewart. 5 to go.
Got that racetrack all to himself, BP, and that's what you want.
Tony Stewart has been excellent here the last couple of years. He finished 3rd in 2002, led 35 laps. He won the pole and finished 2nd here last year, led 80 laps. But you know, the fact that Tony Stewart has not won yet this season is sort of a payoff to the feature we did on Discover Card Countdown to Green about just how difficult it is to win these Nextel Cup Series races. Everything's got to be perfect.
Everything has got to be perfect. And you know where it's really going to count.
But wait a minute. Yesterday, everything wasn't perfect. They had, Mike Wallace stayed out there. He got some track position and started running some fast laps, and he ran out of gas.
Well, it wasn't perfect.
That's
he
right.
ran out of gas.
You've got to be perfect.
Well, I guess that's right. Oh, got a car.
Who's that?
Mark Martin scraping the wall.
No, does he got a... Oh, have a tire go down, or maybe let's see.
What did he say? My brakes are gone. Did he say my brakes are gone, Dave?
He said I saved it. Now, I haven't figured out if he hit the switch as quick as he said I saved it. I don't know if we have a replay of how he was off the turn. Okay, it blew up, he said. Yep. But he saved the race car. He didn't get into the wall. This is a favorite race car of theirs. They're taking it testing at Indianapolis Monday, guys.
Oh, man, how
this is big disappointment.
How disappointing is this for Mark Martin?
So we stay under green, and we are coming to the white flag for Tony Stewart. He will come by Mark Martin's wounded car, and Tony will have a final 1.5 mile lap to try and secure his first win of 2004. Of course, the day's headlines will be an interesting one for Tony and his team, involved in the incident with Casey Kane a little earlier on a restart, and then the altercation on pit road between the 9 and 20 pit crews. But in the end, it'll be a dominating performance by Stewart, who will have led 160 of 267 laps.
That's pretty dominant.
Oh, he's been by far the best car today. There's no doubt about it.
Drivers who won a race a year ago who've not won this year. There are quite a few of them. In fact, 11 drivers. Winners last year, not this. Scratch one off the list. Tony Stewart, with his first win of 2004, he takes the Tropicana 400 at Chicago by almost 3 seconds over Jimmy Johnson. Great run for Dale Jarrett with a 3rd place finish. And how about Jeff Gordon, after his struggles all day long, comes back for 4th.
Amazing. You could never count those guys out.
Tell you what, DJ and Jeremy Mayfield, both those guys trying to get in that top 10 in NASCAR Nextel Cup. Great run for them today.
The winning team headed by Greg Zipadelli. Matt Yoakum's with him.
The first time they're going to go to victory lane since last fall at Charlotte. Zippy, how important is this win for you, Tony, and this entire team?
Well, we've been through some ups and downs there in the last month or two, but hey, my hat's off to this team. When usually when we get backed in the corner, we fight harder. It means a lot. For everything to happen, everybody stuck together. Tony stayed focused and did a hell of a job today.
A lot of maturity showcased in this pit when the fight broke out.
Yeah, that's the one thing good about these guys. They're racers. They're all going to help and protect each other. But, we need to stay focused on what we're paid and what we're here to do. And that's the race. Put a good show on for Home Depot fans. And, we were able to do that today. So I'm just proud of everybody here.
Last 3 starts at Chicago for the 20 team. A 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd.
He couldn't wait to get to victory lane.
I know.
I don't blame him. Been a big day for Tony Stewart and company. It'll be interesting to see what kind of reaction he gets when he climbs from the window into view of the fans.
Yeah, there was no burnout or anything like that. What do you think, Bill?
Well, it's certainly been an interesting day and an interesting season for these guys. I talked to Tony Stewart briefly yesterday in the garage before practice. He said, it's nice to see you guys back. I said, it's good to be back. He said, more people might be happier to see you in this garage than to see me, meaning himself. So he knows he's been the topic of conversation and controversies throughout the season. We talked to him at Charlotte as we were getting ready to come to this race, and he talked about how getting back to victory lane was so important for himself and his team. Obviously, a former series champion wants another shot at it. He's always under the microscope. He's emotional, he's talented, but he's also very temperamental. But here at Chicagoland, he definitely is a winner.
Tony Stewart sitting in his Chevrolet, still unbuckling the belts, getting ready to climb out and celebrate his first win of 2004. Waiting for a drink and some towels. Dominating performance for Stewart today. The wheel comes off. Tony's still unbuckling the belts. Now he's ready to climb on out of there and celebrate his first win of the season. Talking to his crew chief, Greg Zippadelli. He was waiting for Zippadelli to come here before he climbed out of the car. This is a talented 1-2 punch. There are a lot of good crew chief driver combinations, but this is certainly one of the best. And the fans also waiting for Tony to climb out. Trying to get off all the safety devices, still attached to something. He turns around and takes a look. And all these safety devices designed to protect these drivers during the race can often slow down the victory lane celebration. But this will be a big one. Now he's ready, and here comes Tony Stewart, the winner here at Chicagoland in 2004. Tony, congratulations. Your weekend started off in a tough fashion, losing a race car after someone dropped oil on the track. Then you came back into victory lane, your first win of the year.
Yeah, what an awesome weekend, boy. I tell you, these Home Depot guys, they had the longest day on Friday that I think I've ever seen them have on a Friday here. But, you know, they just did a great job. You know, we made some changes yesterday. Zippy and I talked about it, and this thing was just awesome all day long.
Tony, tell me about what happened with the 9 of Casey Kane.
I wish I knew. I mean, all I know is I got around the 40 car and I got back in the slot and was catching him. I started checking up, and then he checked up. And I don't know if, you know, somebody pinched him to where he had to get out of the gas, or if he missed a shift, or he just shifted, or what. But I mean, I was right on his butt. But all of a sudden, he checked up, and like I say, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got forced, got forced to check up, or what happened. But you know, that was a bad deal. I mean, we could have got taken out just as easy as anybody as that. And you know, Casey's one of my young guys that came from the same ranks I did. That's the last guy you'd want to hurt. But you know, I hate it for him, and I hate it for us too. I mean, it could have tore our car up just as easy. I mean, it's not something that was like I said, I'd like to see what happened too, because I don't know what happened. All I know is I got behind him, and no more than I got behind him, and he checked up all of a sudden. So it didn't make for a very fun restart, that's for sure.
Were you aware that the two teams got together on pit road, Tony?
Well, no, I wasn't, but I'm sure I'll hear about it.
Tony, has this been a disappointing season, a controversial season for you as you stand here in victory lane? How do you look at how things have transpired this year?
Yeah, kind of normal for us. I mean, it's taken us a little longer to get going than normal, but you know, this is, you know, a couple months ago is normally when we get started on a good run, and you know, we had a 5th last week and win this week, so I'd say we're going the right direction again.
How about your approach?
1 week at a time still. That's the only way we can do it. It's you know, we've all wanted to be better than what we are, but you know, it just shows the determination of this Joe Gibbs Racing team. And you know, JD Gibbs is our new leader this year with Joe going back to football, and you know, JD's shown that he's a good leader. I mean, he keeps these guys pumped up. Zippy's done a great job, and these guys just don't quit. I mean, they're probably the toughest Cup crew in Nextel, so you know, I'm pretty fortunate to be with these guys.
You're such an intense individual. Does winning take some of the edge off the pressure to perform?
No, because I got next week now, so you know, you're only as good as your previous week, and you know, today's over now. We won today, and we'll celebrate tonight, and you know, tomorrow we'll get ready for Loudon. So you know, putting 2 or 3 of these in a row would ease a lot of stress, but you know, we got to keep working. I mean, Jimmy Johnson's running really good. There's a lot of guys that are tough. I mean, Casey Kane's one of them that's tough every week. So if we're gonna have a shot at winning this thing at the end of the season, we got to catch up to those guys, and hopefully today's step 1 in that process.
Okay, well, you're lucky. Next week's off, so you can enjoy it for 2 weeks. Congratulations.
And here's the finishing order from today's Tropicana 400. Tony Stewart with his 18th career win and his first of 2004.
And it was a good points day for a bunch of guys. It really was. But man, this guy here has got to be the driver of that 6 car. Right there in 24th spot.
Oh, that might have taken him out of his chase
to get in that top 10. Yes.
10th spot. That's right.
Tough day for Ryan Newman. Another driver hoping to stay in that top 10. And we check the championship standings. Ryan hanging into the top 10, but it's tight. The difference between 10th and 11th now is only 65 points. It was 111 at the start of the day. So we're done for Chicagoland. Saturday, July 24th. After an open weekend, we go to TNT for NASCAR Busch Series racing from Loudon, presented by Midas. Then 2 weeks from today, NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from New Hampshire, 1:30 Eastern, starting with Discover Card Countdown to Green.